It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, ready to go here. And usually on a March Madness opening day here on Rothman and Ice, and I'll go through the lineage because you'll have to indulge me to do this. But we're happy to have you along. Your bracket is still clean. You have about, Maddie, how much time? Tell the folks how much time they have left.
They got about
to fill out a bracket.
14 minutes, 13 minutes and some change because game number 1 between Creighton and Louisville
Great game.
is about to pop off, and we finally arrived. This right here is one of those sports events that brings a lot of people together because everybody can fill out a bracket. I've got my bracket in hand right now, but on the sports calendar,
have a bracket. Don't cost nothing.
This is one of those events I think that gets a lot of people excited. I'm excited right now. It gives people a reason to be either distracted at work or, like today in our building, nobody's even at work.
Blow off work.
I've seen, I think, 3 people today in the building outside of you and CB. So, yeah, fired up, man. This is what it's all about, getting us through the weekend. And the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a lot of fun and probably shed a lot of tears, too, looking at our brackets.
You know what? I feel like in an NIL era, and I said this yesterday, I was a little afraid that we were going to lose that heartstring kind of feel for events like this. I did. I thought that we'd be going so professional, and I don't even want to know what half these guys are making. I don't even want to know. I just like to keep it as, and that's me. It's a little old school, Hickory Huskers. I shed a tear in the old Huskers gym the other day.
I get it, AR.
When David Barrett did the original One Shining Moment, it was unbelievable. And he did the original. And then in the 90s was my favorite of all time, which was Teddy Pendergrass. And I played Teddy before for you guys. Mm-hmm. Then it went to Luther Vandross, who I absolutely love as well. And then Jennifer Hudson did it and somebody else. But I loved the original with David Barrett, but the Teddy Pendergrass, the gravelly voice doing One Shiny Moment was my favorite. And I've had this in the system for a while, so I'll give you a little taste of it, Maddie.
Ball is tipped. There you are. Living for your life. You're a
it's not the strongest voice, but it's got soul.
No one knows just how hard you work, but now it shows that one shining moment you reached.
Now, I'm in. Teddy's the best for me. So he will always be the one shining moment. Now, the original writer and singer, I told you, I believe, is David Barrett, so which is an outstanding song. And there is some innocence and amateurism to it. It always will be. What they've done is they've kind of ruined it because they've commercialized it so much at the end where you have to wait so long for it.
Yeah.
And then, the cutting down of the nets and then the credits and all that. And there has but there's still that feel to it, and we haven't lost it. I'm surprised we haven't, but it's still there.
It's still there, and honestly, if you wouldn't have mentioned the whole NIL thing, AR, my mind wouldn't even gone to that today when the games pop off. But I know for some people that absolutely is the case. But yeah, we're just all waiting for those upsets, those moments that'll get us to the one shining moment montage that we always get at the end of the tournament. I got a question. I'm kind of nervous to ask this question, but I've been thinking about her this morning. What's Sister Jean up to?
Is she still around?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't.
A little nervous.
There hasn't been any news. I mean, Loyal is not in it.
No, they're not in it. I was just thinking about Sister Jean.
All right, so I'll give you the wiki update.
Okay.
All right, that's all I can give you right now. If you want everything you need to know about Sister Jean, you're on your own. But I can give you the age from Wikipedia. Would you like to guess?
I believe Sister Jean is right around.
Give me a 10-year window?
Sister Jean right now, I want to say is 97.
Okay. You're under, and you're way under.
104.
You jumped pretty high.
High.
No, you're all right. Okay. You're still under.
Really?
105.
Sister Jean, good for you.
$105.
She's a legend. She's an absolute legend. I'm so happy to hear that because she took over. Was that a couple years ago now?
Amazing.
Or whatever it was, and she was. It was awesome, and that's what March Madness can provide. Yeah. These type of stories, these type of characters, but more importantly, the stuff on the court is awesome.
She is a character at 105.
Good for her.
That is amazing when you look at Wikipedia and see that. That is unreal. I hope she's doing okay.
Me too.
A lot of people listening might say, you know what? If you offered me 105 right now, I probably wouldn't take it.
Good.
It's just one of, you know what I mean?
Send me to the upper room.
She's one of one. Yeah. That's great. And I hope that she's still doing okay. But 105, that's quite a long race.
You mentioned Jennifer Hudson and her, version of One Shining Moment. Did you see, I think a week or two ago, where she got cracked in the head at the Knicks game with a basketball? That was tough.
Just ball bounding into the stands?
Deuce McBride for the Knicks was trying to save the ball. He couldn't quite get to it, and she wasn't looking. And the basketball just Marsha Brady her right in the dome. Tough.
So I would take that over the size 13, Adidas right to the face, which we've seen guys go into the stands. You don't want that.
So you're saying a basketball or a shoe to the face?
Yeah, I'm taking the basketball.
Depends on the velocity of the basketball that gets you in the dome.
Was it a glancing blow or
no,
straight
this
on?
was like right to kind of like the side of the dome.
Okay, not the back, not the pistol whip to the back of the head.
It was like, right to the side of the dome. And she's, I don't know if she's dating or married to the rapper Common from Chicago. You probably heard of Common, but he was sitting right next to her, tried to save the basketball, but it was a little delayed. So he may have been sleeping on the couch that night.
Is it worth a Google? Is it that you want to see it? Okay.
It is. It was just, you brought up Jennifer Hudson. That's where my mind went.
And she did a great rendition as well to One Shining Moment.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I think for the most part, you're not going to get a whole bunch of kick out of our brackets. I think that they're probably on the dull side. There are a few upsets, but nothing massive. And the reason I say that is because when I look at the betting odds for this tournament, I find that it's very, very top heavy. You have tiers. And it's not. I know there are a lot of people say, "Oh, this is going to be a wide open tournament." I'm not sensing that. I don't even know if we get a double digit to the Sweet 16 this year. It feels top heavy to me. The Dukes, the Floridas, Auburns, Houston, I think, and then Maddie, it goes to tier 2, and I think you can get value in tier 2. I'm not saying you can't, because if you can give me Sparty or Tennessee at 20-1 or higher, that's great value, especially in a tournament that's one and done, not a series. But if you look at, there is a tier, man, and it's the ones. The ones are way above. Duke, Florida, Auburn, Houston are very top heavy. And I wish I could tell you that I look at this every single year to see if it's that top heavy, but I thought we'd get much more balance with the odds. I thought Bama would be more like 9-1, not 18-1.
To your point, AR, over at Bet365 right now, the leader in the clubhouse is Duke at plus 300. The Florida Gators, who are a very popular pick right now to win the whole darn thing, plus 375, followed by Auburn at plus 450, Houston at plus 600, and then you start to get into the double-digit odds, if you will. Bama 18-1, Tennessee, as you mentioned, 22-1. And then Sparty at 25-1.
Possibly the worst way to do this when you're doing a bracket is going with straight analytics, but it's really the other way just seems more uncomfortable.
The Rothman Humanalytics is probably the way to go.
So I've been struggling, as you know. I came in today and looked at you and said, I still don't have my champ. I have it down to 2, and it's very chalky. And the reason I'm having a struggle is, do I take what I believe is the hottest team right now in Florida versus the easiest path, and for me, the most balanced team in the tournament, the Duke Blue Devils.
With the best player in the country.
Who's not,
in my opinion.
Who we have no idea whether his ankle is a balloon or whether he could re-aggravate it during the tournament. No clue. Duke, if you go to the analytics, offense and defense, Duke is top 5 in the country. There is no other team in this tournament, analytically, that is balanced like that. There are teams, and so I'll ask you this question. When you pick a team in the tourney, do you lean offense over defense? I do, especially in the NCAA tournament. I always
lean offense.
Okay.
And vibes. I'm a vibes guy.
All right. So there's a balance here. The teams that went through their conference tournaments Are they gassed or are they on a heater?
Mm-hmm.
These are young dudes. I'm going to bet that that's not going to crush them, that they had to play in their championship game of their conference. They had almost a week off. They should be good to go. Florida is top 10 in both. So I have Florida and Duke in the final because Florida is the best offensive team in the tournament right now, in my mind. And analytically, they are. And defensively, they're in the top 10. Duke, I went with Duke because of the balance and the easiest path. That was my tiebreaker. I don't want to have Florida get knocked out by, I don't know,
Memphis,
St. John's, Maryland.
Yeah.
No, I think I have Memphis going down in the first round, actually, to Colorado State.
That's your 12-5 upset.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then St. John's is sneaky. They're sneaky. St. John's is really good defensively. Really, they may be the best defensive team in the tournament. I'm just wondering, do they have what it takes if they get down to be able to come back? I worry about that.
My final foe. I've got the Auburn Tigers coming out of the Southern region.
Highly motivated now.
The University of Florida Gators coming out of the Western region.
Love it. Great offense.
Midwest, I have Kentucky getting there, which I don't think a lot of people are going to have. And then in the East, I've got Alabama taking out Duke in the Elite Eight to get to the Final Four. My championship is Bama in Florida, and I'm rolling with the Florida Gators.
You're an SEC guy. It makes sense.
As we all know, we are all Jon Snow, and we know nothing. Yep. You know nothing,
That's
Jon
right.
Snow.
That's right. Bama, very good team. Very good offense. Decent defense. A little beat up. I like your Kentucky pick. I do. Can they beat Tennessee for a third straight time? That'll be the question. And then can they take out Houston, which I think is a little bit of the under-the-radar darling for a lot of people.
What I like about
incredible defensively. Like, they're, real quickly, they're the anti-Florida. They're unbelievable defensively and really good offensively. And Florida's really good offensively and pretty good defensively. They're both right there analytically.
Florida's depth is very appealing this time of year because of what you talked about, playing a lot of these games, being able to have veteran guys that you can rely on and go down your bench. I like that. Alabama, for me, is just all me hoping that they get hot and stay the best offensive team that they've been in the country. They led the country in points per game. I love Nate Oates in that system. This time of year, you got to go into these different venues and light it up. So that's just my guess, a shot in the dark.
No, it's a good one.
Bama can take out the juggernaut in Duke just based solely off offense.
And I like Florida's path somewhat. They could run into some interesting situations, but it's not overly crazy. All right, I'm going Dukies. Maddie's going Gators. CB, peel and reveal.
So I have Michigan State, Florida, Tennessee, and Duke in the Final Four with a Florida-Duke pairing in the championship and Duke as the champion.
We have the same champ.
So two Dukies and a Gator on the show.
Come on, man. Do you have any inside info on Flag's ankle?
It sounds like inside sources are revealing that he's pretty close to 100%.
I mean, Shire played in my conference, and I should know.
Well, CB's got Coach K's number, so that's his source.
Coach K. Is he still that engaged?
Yeah, he's got an office over there, doesn't he?
All right, we'll keep an eye on it. If you're driving around, listening, we'll keep you updated on all the scores today, so you won't have to go anywhere. We'll even check in with our guy, Scotty Vegas, out at Hollywood Casino and see what odds he's got going. We'll have Dan Dakich on this hour. We'll have a Gold Jacket Thursday with Aeneas Williams, the All-Pro corner, Cardinals, Rams. He'll be awesome at 1 o'clock. So don't go anywhere. We'll come back with a little Ohio State football talk. Quarterback coach. He's got the pecking order, or does he? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Common Man here. I take my job as endorser for Germain Lexus very seriously. I want to make sure that every Lexus on the lot meets my expectations. That's why I personally sit in each one. I massage the leather. Sometimes I take a nap in the back seat. If that's not a selling point, I don't know what is. Deal time. Lease the 2025 ES350 for as low as $409 per month, or get 3.49% financing up to 60 months on their most popular new Lexus models. 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton. Check them out online, GermainLexus.com.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yes! Let's go!
That's you taking another sip of your
Mountain Dew.
Do the Do.
Hoops fans, are you ready to score big and get lucky this March?
What's up? It's T-Bone. I'm here to tell you that Bud Light will be holding mini hoops challenges at bars and restaurants across town over the next several weeks with one goal in mind.
To send one lucky local winner to Las Vegas where they'll compete for $10,000.
Take your shot at March Madness glory. This week, join Bud Light and watch some hoops on Saturday afternoon as they take over Pastimes Grandview and Grandview Yard. They'll be there from 2 to 6 p.m. and have a mini hoops basketball challenge
That'll give you a shot at a Vegas trip and $10,000.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
March Madness hits the Schottenstein Center. Ohio State Buckeyes women's basketball takes on number 13 seed Montana State during the NCAA first round at 5:30 p.m. on Friday. Tickets are on sale at ohiostatebuckeyes.com.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by two things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your four-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV? Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Feeling the aches and pains of everyday life slowing you down? Introducing Blue Emu, America's #1 emu oil formula for pain relief. In a recent clinical trial, 91% of users saw improvement after using Blue Emu. Whether you're working hard, playing harder, or just staying active, Blue Emu penetrates deep to relieve joint and muscle pain fast. And best of all, you won't stink. Join the 91% who felt the difference. Find Blue Emu at your local retailer or online. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Cloudy today along with a few showers, high around 48. Tonight, the showers move out and we clear up, low 28. Sunny tomorrow, high 54. Mostly cloudy on your Saturday with a few early showers, high 53. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The best teams don't always win titles. Sounds like AR and Maddie bragging about their fantasy teams.
Hey, that's cheating!
This is Rothman and Ice.
Indeed it is. 2-0 Creighton. 2.5 minutes in.
Tell them what you told me during the break.
I said I went against the public. I think everybody loves Creighton, so I went with the location of Lexington for, just being in Kentucky and Louisville. And I go, if they go on a run, they get the crowd involved, that maybe they can snuff out Creighton a little bit. And it was 2-0 Creighton, and I looked at Matt and I go, well, I kind of knew I was going to make a mistake on this one. That's all right. And Matty goes, you haven't seen any yet. I go, I've seen 2 possessions.
Oh, man.
I know exactly. I got a great feel of this one.
I was not expecting that at all. But, that's the fun of this tournament. You know what else is fun is us handing out another $50 gift card to Skyline, which we will do today. Skyline Chili is a great place for lunch or dinner. If you're on the run, you can always pull in to the Skyline drive-thru, enjoying a couple of cheese conies or a Skyline 3-way. Always makes the day better. Feeling good, it's Skyline time.
All right. the quarterback thing is interesting because we all are so curious what the pecking order is going to be and how Ohio State's going to do this with Ryan Day and Billy Fessler and Brian Hartline and all of them getting together. Fessler is the quarterback's coach, if that name doesn't ring a bell to some of you. Thought I'd just bring you up to speed there. And it's kind of a new vaulted promotion for him. He's been obviously with the Buckeyes for a couple years, and he's helped them. When you think about it, you go back to he's helped them with a lot of the major passing stats that they've had and that they've had with really good quarterbacks. And so he kind of went on. He was with Akron. He was a GA, I think, was he a GA with Fields and Stroud? I think so. And then he goes to Akron and then comes back to Ohio State as an analyst, and now he's the quarterback's coach this season. So Maddie and I thought it'd be great to hear from him. Now, understand this. I haven't heard this. I imagine, Maddie, he's not tipping his hand.
No.
If the head coach isn't tipping his hand,
he knows the game.
I doubt the QB coach would.
He knows the game. Coach Day knows the game. I think at this point, with us being around this program for years and specifically under Coach Day and going through this a couple times now, we know that this is going to be a situation where this is going to get through the summer, early portion of fall, and hopefully come, a couple weeks before that Texas game, they can come out and name a guy. Because I think that's important to a team, for everybody to know who the leader is and for that guy to grab a hold of that leadership role and have the confidence that I'm the guy. But us sitting here on March 20th, I'd be very surprised if there's anything definitive coming out of that building as far as this guy, is leading the race right now, or as Mike Tomlin said last year with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, the guys in pole position. Like, I just don't think it's time for any of that, and I think that's okay at this portion of the calendar.
All right, so he's got a quarterback background. Billy Fessler suited up for Penn State back about 8-9 years ago and had a little window of time there. And now he's coaching these dudes, and it's been a nice list of quarterbacks for Ohio State. And now the next big name has to pop up here for the Buckeyes, and Fessler was asked if he has a pecking order.
We do not. To be honest with you, Coach Day and I will sit down along with Coach Hartline and have those conversations. But the reality is we're going to let those guys compete, and we're going to let those guys go have equal opportunities. We are really far away from the start of fall camp and getting into the season. So more than anything, I'm just excited to watch them compete. I'm excited to watch them grow. Last year, both Lincoln, Julian, and then Tavian at the end of the year had the opportunity to see what it looks like and to watch Will and watch how he operated and to learn from him, and at the same time prepare to the level that, if something were to happen, they're ready to go in the game and go execute. So now to step into a role where they're competing for the job, is a little bit of a different deal. So I'm excited to see them compete more than anything.
So it's the right answer, and it's probably the true answer. You can know in your mind who you believe is the most talented, but you don't know who's going to do it when it counts.
That's real.
And I think that letting them compete against each other, letting them feel a little pressure, letting them feel competition, that's great for all of them. If you want to find out a little bit, if you want to expose some weaknesses, create a competition. And they may have an idea in their minds, okay, this is his job to kind of lose, but there's no reason to even lean into that, I don't think, too much.
No, you use the word competition, and, the beauty of a program like Ohio State is the good-on-good competition that you get every day. Man, there's only a handful of programs that can really offer that consistently. So for these guys that are very young, just think about how inexperienced the quarterback room is right now. You're talking about, the elder statesman in that room is Lincoln Keenholz, and he's a redshirt freshman, I believe. And so there is guys in that room that have so much to learn and so much room to grow, and they've just got to let this thing marinate. These guys got to go through, the speed bumps of practice and the everyday grind of trying to earn that spot and the weight of being a quarterback at this program. The beauty of this is the guys that were around Will last year, I think that was the perfect guy, for a young guy to learn from based off of how he went about his business with the media, what it sounds like he was behind closed doors as a leader, and then more importantly, what he did with his play. Because this offense, this program, year in and year out, is going to provide these quarterbacks with elite playmakers. And no matter who ends up winning the job, we know that's going to be the case this year with what they have in that wide receiver room, with the best wide receiver in the country, and Jeremiah Smith, a top 5, top 10 wide receiver, I think, at the end of the year, and Carnell Tate, he'll end up being a household name to me in that form and fashion. And then the running backs and what that's going to look like. And so Will came into this thing, and he knew, and he made it public. Hey, I don't have to be Superman in this offense. Yeah, I had to probably do a little bit of that at Kansas State because the talent around me wasn't as good as it is here in Columbus. But for Will, he really wrapped his hands and his mind around being, hey, a very efficient game manager that can do more when asked. And I think that's all you got to do. And if those guys have that mindset, then this offense is, I think, going to have a chance again to hit the ground running. I mean, Will was number 1 in the Big Ten in completion percentage this year at 73%. I don't know if you're getting that from a young guy right away or even throughout the entire year. But if they feel like, hey, I can be a guy that in my spots or when my number is called in spots, I can step up and put the cape on. But more times than not, I don't have to do that. If that's the mindset, then whoever's going to be the quarterback, this offense will be just fine in 2025 and beyond.
All right, we will peel through a few of the guys as we go throughout the show and probably in the Buckeye Bulletin as well. I'm with you. I think that it's interesting about Keenholz because if you asked a casual Buckeye fan, they'd say he's third, just in their minds. And he's been around the longest. And
which hasn't been very long.
Which hasn't been very long, right? Yeah. But he's been with McCord. He's been with Devin Brown. He's been now behind Will Howard. He never really got the playing time because of those guys. And so, yes, does he have to beat out presumably a second-year kind of phenom insane and a transfer, of course, and then this incoming 5-star? Yeah. So if we were doing our pecking order, I think we'd be doing it. Would you have Keenholz third, or would you have him second?
I would have him second, just based off of
experience,
being around, just knowing like the everyday operation of what it's like to be on campus and go through the Marathi workouts and just all of those finite details that we probably don't think about often. Tavion's very talented. The dude's going to be special one day when he gets out there on the field. But the reason why I also would have Lincoln second is based off of what I've heard a couple of the guys that are no longer around say about Julian and how it's his time and all of those things. And they clearly saw Julian and what it took and what he looked like in practice every day last year. So, yeah, there's nothing locked in right now, nor should there be anything that's locked in at the moment. But there's definitely a vibe that's come out of that building over the last 6 to 8 months that when we turn the page to this moment, that Julian was going to have a strong chance to be the guy.
I hope it is a battle. I really do. I hope that they come out of this, that Julian didn't, get it out of default, that the other guys just couldn't compete, that it was good enough where they said, we got enough information. They got a lot of time. All right, you'll hear from those guys throughout the show. We'll come back in 2 minutes with our guy, Dan Dakich from Indy, and we'll get our feel of March Madness from him. And also, did Indiana get it right with the coaching hire? 2 minutes next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Hey, nice job, Pete. I like those clean lines. Fellas, do we have anyone that can get to Greenport today?
At Corey's Landscaping, the staffing plan is in the weeds.
Anthony, we need that leaf blower over here. 3 more new customer requests just came in. Who wants to work some overtime?
He needs to dig up quality landscapers and fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.
Call Mr. Rooter. He'll be there quick.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place. Wait, Leslie, what is that dude doing over there at that window?
Well, that dude is Chase, and Chase is making that window look perfect. We're sticklers on detail, Wilson, both in our showroom and definitely in people's homes.
Chase, be careful. May have spilled some coffee over there just a bit ago.
Oh, he knows. He seems to work a lot more when you're around, Wilson. Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here from my friends at High Bank Distillery Co., located right here in Columbus. Introducing their newest product, 614 Vodka, Ohio's house vodka. Perfect to make a drink at home or try when you're out at your favorite local restaurant. Learn more at 614vodka.com.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony's hidden talent is weaving a movie quote into every conversation. It's mostly not annoying. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, great time of the year, best day of the year, perhaps. We go to Indianapolis. He's dodging snow flurries out there. He's our guy, Double D, Dan Dakich. Don't at me on Outkick and the Indy Sports Ticket. And he's taking the show on the road, I hear.
Yeah, baby, we're headed to Dave & Buster's. In fact, I'm going to be late. I just got off with Dan Patrick, and I looked and shoot. You can't be late for your own remote, right? But I think I'm going to, so, you know, if I crash, it'll be good radio. But, yeah, we're all good. It is snowing here. It's stupid. What are we doing?
Double D, just call it open mic night on the Dan Dakich show today. You know, just let anybody come up. All right, let's knock out something real fast. Is North Carolina vindicated because they won their damn playing game, or is it BS they're even in the dance?
I think it's both. I think it's BS they're even in the dance. I think it's absolutely absurd. And I like Bubba Cunningham. He was the AD at Ball State when I was at Bowling Green. He's a good dude. But it's absurd that dude got a bonus for being the chair of the committee and getting his team in. That's garbage. That's nonsense, in my opinion. But, yeah, you know what? If you're going to be in, R.J. Davis knocking in threes, yeah, I guess you're vindicated. I actually have them going to the Sweet 16. I think they're pretty good, but I wouldn't have put them in. And one of the things, I got a couple friends of mine that are mathematicians. One's a professor at IU, and one's two of them are high school math teachers. And they're like, look, Dan, as soon as they started putting in all these different metrics, they covered their backside, meaning they did what mathematicians can do. You can make math work any way for you. Bottom line is you got to win games. And if you don't win games, you shouldn't be in a tournament. That's it.
That's it. I agree wholeheartedly with you, Double D. Let's take it over to Bloomington. They found their guy. Is this the right hire to lead Indiana to higher heights?
I think so. I mean, look, is it the sexiest hire? No. West Virginia fans, you can suck it. Hell with you. You're all mad. Good for you. But, I've said forever, get a guy in here. I don't care who, that's a decent guy, understands modern roster construction, and let's figure it out. Let's go. And I think they did. And I had a chance to watch his teams. We've talked about my son at Illinois State. DeFries was at Drake. I thought it was really a well-coached team. I love the way his son plays. He's coming. I love the way he coaches. So, yeah, but here's my thing. I'm tired of press conferences. Like, I don't want to hear anybody's press conference. I don't want to hear all the bloggers tell me this is a home run hire. I just say, man, get to work, get some dudes in here, be a decent human being, treat people right. Don't become like, I'm the Indiana coach, so bow down to me, and let's go. That's how I look at it, guys. And, yes, I would have loved to have seen Ben McCollum. I had a chance to interview him, the current Drake coach. I thought he was fantastic. But, hey, I'm good with DeFries. And I like the fact, in all seriousness, that West Virginia folks are pissed that he left. Because for two reasons. I was the coach of West Virginia, and screw those people. But the other is, if Indiana takes him and they're sitting there going, good, we're tired of him after 1 year, we're glad he's gone, that wouldn't be so good.
Right. They're pissed, so they cared. You spent, eight crazy nights there in Morgantown? Let me ask you this, because I don't think I've ever asked you. Did they, when they hired you, did they not tell you that they were going to be maybe popped for recruiting violations? What happened there?
No, I asked them, too. I said, look, there are a lot of rumors about your guy, Gail Catlett. No, nothing's here. Well, I get there, and, I said, fellas, I'm hearing you're being paid. If any of you are being paid, you come, you tell me we're going to end all this and clean slate. Well, one kid told me that they were fixing games. Another kid told me they were fixing grades. Another kid told me that he was offered, Jonathan Hargett was offered $60,000, but he only got $27,000, and he's pissed about that. And I didn't care. Fine, I knew they were dirtbags, but what I didn't like was when I went to the president, and my wife was sitting right there, my ex-wife now, but she was sitting right there, and the president, when I had it all written out, he told me he was going to destroy me and my wife if we went any farther with this, and what a great man Gail Catlett was. So my wife stood up, and my wife, both of mine, they would never say a word. My wife never said a word, and she goes, "What do you mean destroy us?" And he went through a bunch of nonsense, and I looked at my wife. She goes, "Oh, boy, we better get the hell out of here," and went back to Bowling Green.
Okay. Wow. That's absolutely crazy.
Eight crazy nights.
That's insane. Hey, Double D, I want to ask you about Duke and how you think they should manage this Cooper Flagg situation. What are your thoughts on Flagg right now and how they should go about it?
Well, I'm going to give you, from not being there, Ice. I think you need as much time and as much ice as you can. Like, I would try not to play him in this opening round game. I think they got a break. I think Baylor's okay, but I can't believe Louisville and Creighton are 8-9 seeds. I really can't. So I would try not to play him if I could. Just time is what you need with ankles. It's just time. You know, you do all your treatment, and there's great treatments, and obviously Duke would have as good as any, but you need time. And that's what I would do. I would absolutely try not to play him in this game, and hopefully he's much better. 48 hours is big. It's big with ankles and healing, so that's what I would try to do. It if I need him against Baylor and Mississippi State, then I would damn sure play him, but I wouldn't play him in his first one if I didn't have to.
All right, we'll cut you loose after you tell us who you got in the Final Four and cutting down the nets.
Well, I got Duke, I got Kentucky, I got Florida, and I got Sparty. I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb. I don't know. Who you guys got?
All chalk. I like your Kentucky pick. If they run into Tennessee, will they beat them again? What would that be for the third time, I guess? Listen, I'm with Duke because of the easiest path. I don't know, Matt, have you revealed yet?
No, I haven't revealed yet. But I'm going to go with Florida. I'll tell you, I'm going with Florida to win it all. Yeah.
They're the hottest team.
Hey, my man Seth Greenberg made a great point. He said Florida is like Noah's Ark, man. They got two of everything, and he ain't wrong, man. I was talking actually to Coach Golden on my morning show, and he's like, "Yeah, we kind of, we recruited our brain off, but we fell into this kid internationally. It turned out to be really good. Got a kid from Patino who's really good, so." I got Florida getting beat by Duke in a championship game, but I could go anyway. You know that.
Yep. Nobody knows anything. That's why it's awesome. Enjoy the madness, my man.
Thanks, my brothers. Thanks for having me. See you guys.
See you, Dan. Dan Dakich on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. I will tell you one thing about, we talked about Darren DeVries leaving West Virginia and going to Indiana after a year there. I have heard he's kind of openly now somewhat admitting that this was done during the season. And there are a lot of people that believe that he held out his kid, Tucker, to save him for next season at Indiana.
Wouldn't shock me at all. Yeah. And doesn't shock me at all to hear that, hey, behind the scenes, there were some, maybe some dinners, some conversations had about, hey, getting him over to Indiana. What, AR, I'm supposed to be surprised that people are tampering?
Yeah.
No.
His kid is like one of the best wings around, and he's experienced. He's 22.
Yeah.
And
that's cool, right? If you're a dad, can imagine that's something that you want to do. Coach up your son at a historical program for however long that may be. It's something you want to do.
It's historical for him.
The brand is strong, Indiana. It's faded a little bit, but it's got history to it. There's no denying that.
The interesting part is that he was 12 years old when Indiana was winning it in 87. He was 6 years old in 81. But he said he kind of grew up, and he didn't grow up in Indiana. He grew up in Iowa.
Yeah.
But Indiana was pretty big in the 80s, and he was just a kid, and maybe it did have an impact.
Indiana was big in the 80s, fellas. You know what's big right here in Columbus? It's the Columbus Men's Clinic, because for over a decade, they've been helping men get back on track and feel good about themselves. For a decade, the Columbus Men's Clinic have done great things all day, every day, helping guys out. It's all they specialize in, and they've gotten so much better over the years with higher success rates, better administrative and medical staff, more treatment, and more happy patients and partners. Their ED, low T, and weight loss treatments truly change lives. And guys, their experience makes the difference. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be steering you wrong. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400. Or go online to columbusmensclinic.com to book an appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com.
Here's the other thing real quickly, and this is the counter to the whole NIL stuff we talked about at the beginning of the show. This is why these kids should be getting whatever they want and going wherever they want. You had a coach who went there for a year and left those dudes for his dream. It's what he's calling it. Those aren't my words. He went to Indiana. He had it cooking at West Virginia in 1 year. He had it really cooking at Drake, who had like 120-win season forever, and all of a sudden he's ripping them off. He's a very good coach. My point is, he did what was best for him, not what was best for West Virginia or the kids he recruited or the kids that were ready to, he was developing that were going to, like, that's the reason. That's the best counter argument.
Yeah, I'm here for everybody having the opportunity to chase a goal, live in that dream that you dreamed about, and that's why players, I always was on their side, even prior to the NIL transfer portal stuff, right? These coaches could go and leave whenever they wanted and cash out and still be getting paid from one university, get another check from another university. It was the players' time. They're grabbing a hold of it as they should, and I'm happy for them.
His buyout was a little north of $6 million. Schools don't care.
Yeah,
they'll buy them and they just go. I remember saying to you guys about 5-6 years ago that if they really wanted to stiff arm the paying of players, they would have given a little more on the transfer stuff. That would have band-aided this for a lot longer. I do think the dam would have broken. I think players were going to get paid, but not to this point, not to this much, this soon, by the schools and all that. I think if they would have just said, okay, a little more freedom, we'll give you the freedom we give the coaches. No more, none of the non-competes, none of the you got to sit out a year, none of the you can't transfer in conference. If they would have done that, Maddie, I think they would have kind of at least pushed the money down the road a little bit. Probably would have come anyway. We'll come back. Speaking of money, the Bengals brass, are they getting the last laugh? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
The madness is finally here. No, literally. It's here at Hollywood Casino Columbus at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. The Fan is throwing 24 hours of watch parties this glorious weekend. We even have our own custom shirts for you to win. The biggest screens, incredible food, and madness contests like horse and a 3-point shootout. Grab your friends and your bracket and join the Fan at Hollywood Casino Columbus and the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Reserve a table at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We're catching up with that famous deep-sea explorer, Jacques Black Jacques. Jacques, where are you today? You're in Columbus. What could you possibly be exploring in Columbus?
The April showers bring flooding to Batmouth.
Oh, I see. Spring rains mean basements are flooding.
This not necessary. Apex Pros.
Not necessary. Call Apex Pros.
A simple zoom pump chick.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble understanding this. Zoom pump check. Sump pump check. Are you saying sump pump check?
Oui.
Yes, of course. Sump pump check from the pros who knows at Apex Pros.
They come to your house.
They come to your house.
They test your zoom pump.
They test your, what is it again?
Zoom pump.
Some pump, right.
All with a 5-star guarantee.
All with a 5-star guarantee. Now, see, I understood that perfectly.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Bring the thrill of the stadium to your wallet with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the only checking account that rewards you for being a Crew fan. Pathways Financial Credit Union, your true financial partner. Federally insured by NCUA.
Leases on approved credit. No security deposit required. Tax, tags, title, and dealer fees extra. Ends April 1st.
I'm Rick Reichert. If the calendar says March and there's basketball on TV, it can only mean one thing. Mark down madness at number 1, Reichert Ford. Reichert Ford has sold vehicles to every state in the nation. And we'll sell you one too. Lease new 2024 F-150S TX for just $399 a month for 36 months. 0 down. Plus you get Reichert Ford's exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty because we're dealing. Saving money is a slam dunk at Reichert Ford. Lease new 2024 Bronco Sport for just $399 a month for 36 months. 0 down. Plus Reichert Ford's exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty. It's madness. Mark down madness at the #1 largest volume Ford dealer in Ohio, Reichert Ford. At Route 33 and Hamilton Road, 2 minutes off 270, and at ReichertFord.com. We're dealing.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
Based on 2024 Ford report for total new retail sales. Cincinnati region. Leases on approved credit. No security deposit required. Tax, tags, title, and dealer fees extra. Ends April 1st.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Why would we trade our best player?
Well, at least you got to watch him in person when he was here.
I named my only son after him.
So you'll always remember his name.
Yeah, but what do I do with this jersey?
Luckily, the company has a great return policy.
I wore it for 6 seasons.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Michelle Smallman here. Do you want to be at the draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin? Travel Wisconsin is sending 10 lucky fans and a guest to the draft. Experience the thrill of the draft firsthand and make memories that will last a lifetime. Don't wait. Enter Travel Wisconsin's Dream Draft Sweepstakes. Visit travelwisconsin.com/draft to learn how you can win a trip to experience the biggest moment of the offseason. Epic moments that become lifelong memories are waiting to be discovered across Wisconsin. Terms and conditions apply.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Federal Elite Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
These two have a ton in common. Anthony loves hockey, and Matty's always cold. This is Rothman and Ice.
All right, Creighton just went on a 12-4 run, as predicted. High Point, not only hanging with Purdue, but I think they're giving them a little bit of early trouble.
Some sweet
and actually,
unis.
9-8.
Sweet unis. I'm digging the purple from High Point as well. They look good out there. Update from Duke's camp. The official Twitter handle for Duke's men's basketball just about 15 minutes ago put it out there that Cooper Flagg will be active tomorrow versus Mount St. Mary's. So, number 2 for the Dukies. Best player in the country in some people's mind. He'll be ready to rock and roll starting tomorrow.
Listen, Shire texted me and Coach K texted CB, so we had that a couple segments ago for you.
Mm-hmm.
So they felt it was out there, so they had to confirm it now.
No doubt.
The fact that we put that out there. 28-21 Creighton. They look very much in sync to me. Dermot's a very good coach. He's got a lot of tourney experience. He's kind of the it coach a lot of the time. And his team, this Creighton team is a 9 seed. They're a little dangerous if they get through this, which it looks like they should, but it's early. I get it. I know.
So early.
Just
go on a run if you're Louisville. They just got to turn over.
That's what they need. They need a run with that crowd.
Yeah,
that's what they need.
I never really freak out until it gets to like 13 to 15 points, and even then, it's the first half.
That's no fun. You got to freak out early like me in the first minute.
But Creighton's looking good, man. They're getting busy in the paint too. But yeah, if Chucky gets hot for Louisville. That's what they need. Chucky can get it done for you.
Chucky Hepburn?
Yeah, man.
Let's talk about the Bengals. You uncovered this little nugget of the Bengals introducing their wide receivers and the new contracts. And I said the other day, this does restore some faith. It was a little bit on the surprise meter. This was up there. Them, because they had T on the tag, and who was going to pay him $30+ million? I don't know. Maybe he would have gotten that somewhere else, but he wanted to stay with Joey B. And the other interesting part he unveiled at the press conference was that he grew up dreaming of playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. I didn't know anybody did that.
No, I didn't either. But, yeah, the Bengals definitely surprised us because their history has shown us that, hey, they really don't want to go down that path of guaranteeing a lot of money at a very high end. It's like that one friend you have in the friend group, AR, that's always late for events or parties or whatever, and then, like, the one time they show up and they beat everybody to the party or the bar. You're like, wait a minute, what is this? That's what the Bengals did. But, yeah, they sat back, apparently, the team did, and heard the noise. And as the kids say now, they've been racking up some receipts, and the team Twitter put this little video montage out, I believe this morning or last night, and there's some familiar voices and faces that you'll hear in this about what they weren't or weren't going to do when it comes to Higgins and the gang.
Because let's face reality, he's not to keep T. Higgins. They got to take care of Jamar Chase. They can't pay him.
The Bengals want to create the impression that they tried. You didn't try, you failed.
Hey, you going to be able to get a deal done? Ideally is a situation that doesn't deal with reality. You're not going to be able.
Yeah, I don't see how they pay. I don't see how. I'm not saying it can't be done. I just don't see how.
I thought that this was going to be what we have come to expect from the Bengals for a long time. The same old Bengals. They're not going to get the deals done with the wide receiver. I was wrong.
Wow.
This is what happens when you F around. You find out.
We're intent on winning and doing what's necessary to make sure we do it.
Higgins and Chase are back.
They are not the same old Bengals, and they're not acting like it.
Yeah, who they?
I love Ocho at the end. Yeah, who dat? You know he's proud, especially because he's a wide receiver himself, and his room got paid. So some of the voices in there, Shannon Sharp, Stephen A., Mike Greenberg, Pat McAfee. At the beginning, Mike Florio, guys that were doubting. And they weren't alone. Because in that video, too, if you haven't seen it, are tweets from people on Twitter talking about the Bengals and their history and all that. Yeah. So listen, the franchise right now, they're poking their chest out. They're showing off the chest hair right now, as they should. I guess the question we got to ask is this a one-off, or is this going to be a trend for this franchise moving forward?
Nobody knows. Listen, for all of these, for this one, and this one's big because of who they are and the positions they play and how good they are. But they didn't re-sign Bates or Reeder or Mixon or any of those guys. Maybe they didn't have the cap room to do it. I thought that was fairly real. This is a very timely troll by the Bengals to sports media. So have your time, and now let's see how good you are defensively and what you can pair to play some complimentary football.
That's the key, right? And listen, they have another opportunity to really show or act brand new, if you will, by paying Trey Henderson at a decent dollar and extending him out for a few more years as well. So, yeah, that's the put up or shut up part that you're talking about right now, AR, is just filling in the gaps along that offensive line, more importantly, on the defense. I saw Florio put this out there, and I did not know this, that the Bengals only have 4 scouts in their department, which is pretty eye-opening, right? And I think that needs to change because I looked this up that, the average NFL team has anywhere between 7 to 10 scouts. So the fact that they only have 4, that's interesting now because moving forward, there's going to be so much pressure on their scouting department and their developmental part of their coaching staff to get young guys in there that can help them out and cook fairly often because that's what they're going to need, right? Especially if you commit money to Trey Henderson at a decent dollar too.
They have the smallest scouting staff in the NFL.
It's crazy.
So but at least today, you can't call them cheap.
Not at all.
Not with what they doled out.
Not at all.
Not to those 3 guys.
They put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, we'll see.
Might be a wrap for Louisville. 40-25.
Okay, see.
4 minutes to go.
Listen, I've been watching games a long time. I get a vibe. I get a feel. You get a feel, you get a feel.
I got a feeling.
You guys watch a lot. You get a feel. You know it. Yeah. We'll get a Hall of Fame feel from one of the best ever to cover some of the best ever. Aeneas Williams, the great Cardinal and Ram, will join us next from Canton. Don't go anywhere. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
Men, this is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And though I generally talk about medicine and effective treatments for erectile dysfunction and other men's sexual health issues, today I want to talk about love. Because love is the best reason to get treated for your ED. You see, ED can cause major relationship issues. In fact, men often push their partners away when ED becomes a problem. The condition can cause depression, arguments, breakups, and even contribute to divorce. But the good news is that if you're like most men suffering with ED, you can be successfully treated at Tri-State Men's Health and put a stop to the relationship stresses that ED can cause. I say this with all confidence because we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Truly, it's likely you'll find you're performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and get the love back in your life. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
Hi, I'm Bob Capace.
No, I'm Bob Capace.
It's more believable when I say it. Make me believe that you're really Bob Capace.
The spring bridal sale is going on now. Buy one, get one 50% off. The best prices of the year on natural and lab-grown diamonds are right now at Worthington Jewelers. On High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com.
Needs work. I don't really buy it.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious blueberries, money saved. A creamy treat of cookie dough ice cream, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also 10 points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
Confidence is key this March, both in picking the right Cinderella teams for your bracket and the right contractor for your exterior project. When it comes to your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call the team you can trust, Newman Roofing. Call 614-NEW-ROOF today or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Love Logan Services? Share your story and be rewarded. Refer your friends and your family for their heating, cooling, and plumbing needs and earn up to $200. Visit us online for details. Excellence in every degree, that's Logan Services.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Welcome to Tire Discounters.
Thanks. I gotta warn you, I drive a hard bargain.
Okay.
So let's hear your first offer.
Well, how about, with any 4-tire purchase, we'll give you a free alignment.
Man, I'm good. All right, let's do it before you change your mind.
And we'll also give you a free oil change.
Ha! I can't believe I talked you into this deal. Sometimes I amaze even myself.
Don't tell accounting. But with any 4-tire purchase at Tire Discounters, you get a free alignment and a free full synthetic oil change. See store for details.
Finding the right employee for your company is tough. One wrong hire can be a major setback. You're not alone if you face this. A recent survey by Robert Half shows nearly half of hiring managers readily admit to making a bad hire. Luckily, there's a solution. With Robert Half's specialized recruiter's experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can have the right skilled professional in place quickly. We understand what it takes to build winning teams because at Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartimas. It's officially official. It is tournament time. We got double-barreled action going right now. 8-seeded Louisville is playing 9-seeded Creighton over on 10 TV. Creighton had the initial momentum in that one, but it is tight. That is in the top left region of your bracket. We also just had 4-seed Purdue and 13-seed High Point start just a little bit ago. That one is in the bottom right region of your bracket. It's all going to kick into full gear here shortly. When the Wisconsin-Montana game tips off in half an hour, we should have no less than 3 games running at a time for the majority of the day. It's going to be awesome. And since the Buckeyes aren't in it, if you want to hate watch, you can root for UC San Diego tonight versus Michigan. And don't forget about the Blue Jackets either. They have some hockey tonight. The Panthers are coming to town. The puck will drop at 7. It'll be right here on The Fan. And our pregame coverage will begin at 6:30. The Jackets need to end this skid. This update is brought to you by Whiskey War by High Bank Distillery. Drink local, drink High Bank.
Rothman and Ice present Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
All right, it's my favorite thing. We get to chat with legends of the game, and there's nothing like it. And the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton is the place to be if you haven't been, and this is a great weekend to do it because they're going to have another great legend there. And I love incredible stories, guys that weren't ready-made, guys that had to work for it, guys that had to maybe overachieve at times in some people's eyes. And he was a third-round pick for the Arizona Cardinals out of Southern University, where he walked on. I'll repeat that, walked on. And now he's a Pro Football Hall of Famer, inducted in 2014, 90s All-Decade team and an 8-time Pro Bowl corner. His name is Aeneas Williams, and he's with us now. Aeneas, it's great to have you.
Glad to be on with you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You're back in football heaven. I'm going to ask you a kind of a generic question right out of the gate. Now that you're back in Canton and you see your bus there and everything, you look back on your career, what did you love most about football?
Oh, that's a great question. What I love most about football, probably what I learned to love about football was how to develop competitive excellence, meaning regardless of fear, because I dealt with fear initially. I wasn't sure I can actually cover receivers one-on-one in the National Football League. So being able to overcome those fears and be able to step in and understand that the body's natural reaction to things that are challenging, the body's going to feel a certain way. Even your mind may think certain thoughts. But the ability to still show up and execute on a daily basis really, really helped me throughout life. Being able to do what I do with excellence in spite of not always feeling that I'm the most confident at what I'm doing.
Aeneas, I want to stay there because you used the word fear. Was there a specific moment? Was there a practice? Was there a game to where you remember that fear fading away and the confidence starting to increase for you?
And the fear was more and I would overcome it through my relationship with Christ. I'd spend time just thinking about the power of God and what I understand from the scriptures, where all of a sudden now I would make God bigger than what the actual challenge was. But in terms of the fear, it just meant a Randy Moss, he's 6'4", he's 225. Aeneas I am 5'10" and a half, I'm 190. Just physicality, those things just don't equate. Mm-hmm. But a true story. So after my third year of playing with the Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals, they fired the coach, Joe Bugle, and they hired Buddy Ryan. My wife and I were in Champaign-Urbana. She was getting her MBA there, and I was a restricted free agent. And I told my wife, I said, I don't think we're going to sign. I don't want to sign back with the Cardinals because I heard Buddy Ryan is not a player's coach, which wasn't true at all. And one thing typically wives will do, they'll ask you more questions. So what it really ended up was I was afraid to sign back with the Arizona Cardinals because I wasn't sure that I can play in Buddy's defense, which puts the cornerbacks on an island. And so once she and I prayed about it, and then we felt the desire to go back and sign with Arizona Cardinals. As soon as I signed back with him, one of his sons, he has twins, Rob and Rex Ryan. You guys may be familiar with them. It was their first job in the league. Both of them had been in college. Their dad was the first one to give them professional jobs. Rob coached against me at Tennessee State, a historical black college, when I was at Southern. As soon as we signed, he was the defensive back coach. Rob came and put his arms around me, and he says, "You're going to make All-Pro, you're going to make the Pro Bowl, and you're going to lead this league in interceptions." He said, "I saw you do that at Southern." And that's when I understood the power of people in authority. In this case, it was Rob. And guys, do you know that's the first year I led the league in interceptions. I led the league in – I made the Pro Bowl and I made All-Pro. And Rob convinced Buddy, his father, to put me on the best receiver. Now, keep in mind, you're talking about fear initially, right? So now not only did I sign – now my coach is telling his dad, and Buddy never did this, by the way. He didn't do this in Philadelphia. He didn't do this in Chicago. He never moved his corners. You were either left or right. Rob convinced his dad to have me assigned to the best receiver. And that's when I learned to overcome the fear, is because I was actually placed in a position that allowed the greatness that was in me to come out.
Great story. We are talking with the former three-time first-team All-Pro corner Aeneas Williams, Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. You can meet and greet with Aeneas this weekend, Saturday. He'll be the one in the gold jacket, and he'll be 9 to 10 a.m. in the Hall of Fame store in the Bust Gallery, and then 10 to 11:30, breakfast at the Hall, meeting visitors, and I highly recommend it. 55 career picks, 9 going back for touchdowns, 3 fumble returns for touchdowns. You mentioned the guys that you had to go up against, Aeneas. Which guy or which guys did you cherish more on being able to shut down or go up against? Which guy presented the biggest challenge for you?
I always get asked that question, and I always share with people, because they always ask, who is the most difficult? Who is the hardest? And I always say, I don't have somebody that I tell you was the hardest or the most difficult. What I had was different players with different skill sets and different talents. But I can tell you in terms of really going up against someone that we had some amazing battles, it would have been Michael Irvin. Because Michael was he prided himself on being what I call this, a bully. Prided himself on intimidating cornerbacks. And so once he realized he could intimidate me, we had some amazing battles. And I attribute being in the Hall of Fame to those battles with Michael Irvin a significant impact of me developing my potential.
One of your greatest quotes, I think I remember when you were talking about Michael Irvin, was, if he goes to the bathroom, I'm going with him. Is that true?
That's exactly right, man, because he had his coach. It was interesting because when Shane Gailey was his coach, I think he was office coordinator at the time, Shane started moving Michael, because normally Michael was just an X. He'd line up on the line, and I'd go cover Michael. But Shane wanted to try to move Michael around to get me off of him and try to get him on someone else. But it turned out, and this is Michael's own words, it was Michael didn't like that, because that took him out of his advantageous position to use his physicality. So it was those battles that was so much fun that really helped me develop into a player with competitive excellence.
Yeah, well, I love that. One thing that's so impressive to me is, a defensive back that's not only good in coverage, but he also takes the ball away. And you were great at both. Talk us through that skill set of taking the rock away, and then, like you did a lot, and taking it to the house. Is there something that you looked for specifically, something that you worked on in practice that led you to be such a great defensive back at handing the ball over to your offense, or more importantly, putting points up on the board?
Well, you mentioned earlier that I walked on the team. Actually, I walked on the team a week before the season started, my junior year in college. And I end up starting by the fifth game that first year and then played a total of 3 seasons in college, the third year while in graduate school. But so I had 20 interceptions over that period of time, and I led the nation with 11 my senior year. So catching the ball was extremely important to me, and I didn't necessarily have natural hands as relates to some guys. They just naturally catch the ball. It's a skill, so I worked on it a lot. And then not only did I work on it a lot, I developed a mentality that it was never acceptable for someone to catch a ball on me. So in practice, walkthroughs, no matter what it was, I developed that mentality. But I also developed the mentality of, when I say there's many of your those that like the game of football, how many times have you seen defensive backs running next to the receiver? He's right there, but he never turns around. And eventually either the receiver catches the ball over them or there's pass interference. So Gilbert, so this was going into my 4th year, I reached out to a guy by the name of Gilbert, who was in the San Diego Chargers Ring of Fame. He was an all-pro cornerback, probably about 7 years ahead of me. And I had a coach who coached him with the Chargers when I was in Arizona, and he had come to Arizona. Bobby Jackson is his name. And Bobby would tell me about Gil. And so we ended up playing Gil that season, and I asked Gil if I can get his phone number during off season so I can call him. And so I called him, and I asked him, can I come see you and just get your wisdom? And when I got there, Gil took me, my wife and I stayed in his house with he and his wife, Marilyn, and he took me to the San Diego Chargers facilities. He taught me how to study film. But the first thing he did when I was on the football field, he said, what's your philosophy? I said, what philosophy? What do you mean? Cornerback, what are you talking about philosophy? So the first thing I said, what came to me was, don't get beat. And he said, yeah, that's why guys get beat. I said, what do you mean? Then he gave me a scenario. He said, you see the guy who's right next to the receiver. He never turns around, even though he could turn around, catch the ball, and either the receiver catches the ball on him or he gets pass interference. He says, Aeneas, change the philosophy. He said, here it is. He said, they have to beat you. Now, that sounds like a play on words, but it's huge. He says, when the ball's in the air, you have just as much an opportunity to catch it as they do. So even though I was very good in college, that took me to a whole nother level, that mindset. The second thing is, in practice, every interception, every fumble recovery, I got to the nearest sideline, ran full speed to the end zone. So when people ask me, what was it like catching 2 interceptions in the divisional round against the Cowboys, upsetting them, catching 2 of Aikman's passes, or divisional round when I was with the Rams, what was it like catching 2 of Brett Favre's passes and running them back? I always tell them it was just like practice. It was just like practice. So the question you just asked, it all started because I practiced as if the game was practice.
Well said. I'd love to talk to you more. The time with the Rams was epic. I wish you would have won the big one. I know you were favored going into it. Some turnovers and things like that, but what a career, Pro Football Hall of Famer, and maybe this will be the best tribute I can give you. The quote that you have from your dad, the one, it's not what people know that hurts them, it's what they know that's not true, has penetrated me deeply, and I love it, and I've committed it to memory. So I hope that makes you feel good.
It makes me feel amazingly well. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, Aeneas, we'll send people up to the hall. If they haven't been there, this is a great weekend to come meet and greet with you. But you enjoy your time. Soak it up there in Canton. You deserve it. Thanks for making this time.
Thank you. Keep up the great work.
Thanks. Aeneas Williams, the 8-time Pro Bowl corner, Arizona, was traded to the Rams, wound up going to the Super Bowl as 14-point favorites against the Patriots in Super Bowl 36, I believe. Bledsoe was going to start. They put Brady in. He did not have a great game. Warner had a couple of bad picks, and they lost a game where they were a 2-touchdown favorite in the Super Bowl. And When you think about Warner and Falk and Bruce and Holt and Pace and him, and I mean, they had a squad. And but what a dude and what a player, and you can meet and greet him Saturday at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We'll come back and we'll talk NFL about the Browns. Is this quarterback the right one for them? Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Breaking.
It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. TNCs apply.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
A pepperoni pizza for the table.
Thank you.
May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness, while the carbonation and notes of citrus enhance the flavor profile. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time.
Pizza deserves Pepsi.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
It's a different world today than it was 30 years ago when I started Care Heating and Cooling. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, 30 years ago, you were the first to warn of companies using service technicians as salespeople, of abusing the trust that a service technician has. With the big conglomerates now buying companies all over Central Ohio, this has become the normal business model.
It's all about greed. The conglomerates know they can make a lot more money by incentivizing their technicians to sell furnaces instead of fixing them. They train their techs to take advantage of a customer when they are the most vulnerable.
Dad, that is not how we were taught. In 2024, Care Heating and Cooling was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
We at The Fan have created a show where you can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Your family may not listen to you, but we will. Sundays at 11, it's The Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. You're welcome.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Do you want a job that is flexible, secure, and fun? It also offers excellent pay and is ranked as one of the best jobs in America, too. I'm talking about being a dental hygienist. And all you have to do is complete a 2-year program after high school. Visit ODA.org to learn more and to start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, time now to check in on that weather report. Cloudy and dreary today. It'll be windy with winds gusting up to 35 miles per hour. Temperatures falling to the 40s by this afternoon. Patchy drizzle possible. We could even be mixing in a few snowflakes later on this evening. Tonight, get ready for a cold night. Low 28. Looking for the sunshine? Look no further than tomorrow. Bright blue skies with a high of 54. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Anthony can follow direction very well, as long as he first prints out MapQuest. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Indeed, I can. We'll give you a quick update here. Creighton is up 15 on Louisville at halftime.
High Point's hanging.
Told you how to feel. Well,
31-20 or 33-25.
Yeah, now they're down 8. And Purdue is killing them on the boards.
How are we feeling about Braden Smith's beard this year? You in on that? CB?
Well, he's scoring, so the beard must be working.
Oh, that's a nice little putback dunk right there.
It's pretty well maintained, so I'm okay with it.
I'm not mad at it. He can pull it off. Looks good.
21-9 in rebounds right now, Purdue over High Point.
That hurts.
Yeah, they're getting abused on the defensive boards. And the Louisville prediction, my 90-second feel turned out to be exactly right. They needed to get that thing down to 9 at half to have a prayer. Now down 15. We'll see. As Maddie says, there's two halves of basketball. The Brownies and the quarterback situation is going to be very, very interesting. And maybe a name that has not really disappeared, but a guy that was around the draft forever is Todd McShay. And he's still analyzing drafts. And he's got the Brownies kind of, I assume if they stay at 2, this is what he's got going.
But to be in a system where you have a head coach or an offensive coordinator that can bring out the best in a quarterback, and that's not everywhere, I promise you. Yeah. But to be in that kind of system, it will work. And we talk so much leading up to the draft about the traits and who the player is and you know, big arm, mobile, accurate as a passer, all those things. But history tells us so much of it comes down to, especially the quarterback position, what situation does he get drafted into? Is it a situation like Cleveland where they have some protection, they have some weapons, they've got a damn good defense, and they have, most importantly, a coach that can bring out the best and maximize what he does best in his traits and his skill set?
He's talking about, I believe, Shedeur Sanders. And so he'll be there. I'm going to go out on a limb here. He'll be there at 2. Tennessee's taking Abdul Carter or Cam Ward. The only way he wouldn't is if there's a team out there that loves him so much, and we haven't heard any of that.
No, not yet.
We've heard the opposite. We've heard he could be a tiny slider versus a riser. Then if there's one team out there that wanted to leapfrog Cleveland, trade with Tennessee, and take Shedeur, I'd be blown away. I don't think that's happening. I think he's going to be there. And I'm not here to tell you be the wrong pick. There's really no way to know. He's got strength. He's very accurate. His completion percentage, his timing routes, he's been very, very good. The knock on him, if there is that he's a little overconfident maybe in the arm talent department. And that maybe that stuff that he's more of a kind of a, if you want to give the baseball analogy, more of a guy who wants to hit for average than hit home runs. And that would be fine, especially with the coaching staff he's talking about right now.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and if that's something that I think, Kevin Stefanski, and not only Stefanski, I think a lot of coaches would find very appealing, is to have a quarterback that would play the safe route and take what the defense is giving them more than trying to make something happen that's not there. And so Shedeur, for me, I've always been impressed with his poise in the pocket, how he does distribute the football to his playmakers, and he's got a clean throwing motion. The whole, the strength of his arm thing isn't the biggest thing for me. I think there's quarterbacks that have been successful that haven't had cannons of an arm. You just got to hope that when you have a guy like that doesn't have the strongest arm, that the timing aspect of his throwing motion and all that is clean. And I think Shedeur can be one of those guys. And if you're Kevin Stefanski, you've been looking for over the last 2 to 3 years somebody that can week in and week out be under center, run your system, and be efficient. Because that's what they've been missing. Because I think Kevin Stefanski has a pretty good mind for offensive football. We've seen some quarterbacks come into that system and play at a pretty high level. It's just been a roller coaster ride. Too many peaks, too many valleys, and that's what's been frustrating. And you're going to have some of that with a rookie. You just have to hope that if you are the Browns and you're betting on Shedeur, that midway through year one, going into the offseason, into year two, that he's going to be able to grab a hold of the steering wheel and get you where you need to go more times than not. And so David Njoku, Jerry Jeudy, I think they need to make some more moves in the playmaking room, especially in that wide receiver room. I think between Njoku and Jeudy, though, they're going to have a chance to have two playmakers, whoever the quarterback is going into next year, that can support them right away. But Shedeur, one of the other knocks that's out there is that he takes too many sacks. I think that's, a little bit of both there. Last 2 years.
Just holds on to it a little too long?
Yeah. And I think you can get away with that, when you're in high school and college more times than not. But the NFL, the game's just so fast. It's so much faster. So that's going to take time for that to get coached out of him. And I think he can do that. So if it were Shedeur Sanders for the Browns, I would like the pick. I really would like the pick because as it stands right now, their quarterback room is Deshaun, who they're not going to get anything from, and Kenny Pickett. And so your options are either.
Sean's working out, I hear.
Is he? There's no way.
Kidding.
Oh, okay. I was about to say that would be an absolute surprise. But, yeah, no, Deshaun is he's just bending the knee right now. That's what he's doing right now with a $2 million ring or something like that he put on his lady's ring finger.
Yeah. How much?
Didn't I see $2 million? I see that, CB, or am I making that up? $2 million?
Yeah, it was valued at 2.5.
I can't even see CB in there today. Like, CB is so locked in. He's got the hood up. He DoorDashed Wendy's.
No, it might actually be colder in this studio than yours for the first time ever.
The lights are dim over there.
You did DoorDash a meal during the show?
No,
That's
I DoorDashed it before. It got it got here right as the show was starting.
I looked in there and said, "Do I see a Wendy's bag in there?"
It's awesome.
It's his day, man. This is what CB's one of the biggest college basketball fans ever.
The best part, and we haven't witnessed it yet, is when he loses a first-round game that has no real impact in his bracket. He goes a little. He starts bouncing off the wall in there.
That would be Creighton if they give this up.
And it's not going to happen. And I told him that it would be Creighton. That'd be the only reason for us to be rooting for Louisville, is just to see your body language in there. So how long? The $230 million, CB, remind me, how many years was that for?
That was 5.
So that was 5 years. So that's 40. So he's getting 46 a year, right? So, and he's played, I don't even know how many games. But let's just say if he played a whole year. Okay, 17-game regular season. And how much did you say that ring was?
$2 million.
Okay. That means that he didn't even spend a game check on her engagement ring.
Here are your games per year.
Isn't he supposed to spend 3 months' salary?
You would think. Here are your games played.
Isn't that the rule?
Your games played for Deshaun Watson in 3 years for the Cleveland Browns. 2022, 6 games. 2023, 6 games. And 2024, 7 games.
All right, so let's do this real fast. If he gets $46 million per season, we'll do it over 17 games, and we count 12 games for 3 months. Because isn't the dude supposed to spend a 3-month salary on the engagement ring? Isn't that the normal rule?
And you've got experience with that. You tell me. I don't know.
That means that ring would have to be $32 million.
I don't even think you want to walk around with a $32 million ring. You're just asking for it then. You're just asking for it.
What do you mean?
You're asking for somebody to steal it. 32. That ring would look absolutely ridiculous. It looked like a ring pop, but real diamonds.
$32 million would be his 3-month salary.
Gosh.
Is that unbelievable?
It's going to go down as the worst contract in NFL history.
And for him, the best.
No doubt.
All right, we will come back with fill in the blank next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Michelle Smallman here. Are you dreaming of seeing your team draft their next superstar? Travel Wisconsin is sending 10 lucky fans and a guest to the draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Witness unforgettable moments and make memories that will last a lifetime. Don't miss out. Enter Travel Wisconsin's Dream Draft Sweepstakes. Visit travelwisconsin.com/draft to learn how you can win a trip to experience the biggest moment of the offseason. Epic moments that become lifelong memories are waiting to be discovered across Wisconsin. Terms and conditions apply.
Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money. So he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Columbus Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get 5 bags of red, black, or brown mulch for just $10.95 now through April 5th. Save $50 on home delivery too. Visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up, knuckleheads? You're listening to Rothman and Ice on The Fan. It's not terrible.
Might get a little Frankie visit next week for you. Something to look forward to. Creighton up 16. Purdue up 10 at half.
Wisconsin just tipping off against
Wisconsin with the Grizz. Montana. That's a 14-3 matchup. Is Wisconsin a little overseeded? It's hard to tell. They were consistent this year. They were pretty good.
Tanjay's nice, man.
Tanjay's a star.
Yeah, he can go.
So, and they showed themselves in the Big Ten tournament. Probably could have won it all. Maybe should have won it all. So maybe they're right. It just feels like they feel like a week 3, but you look at their schedule and what they've done. They went through a little bit of a dry spell in November, but generally speaking, they never lost 2 games in a row outside of that. And so they were fairly consistent. They got revenge on Michigan State, who they lost to in early March and then beat them in the conference tournament. I don't remember them having any real bad losses this year. I think that's the best thing I can say about Wisconsin. They never really lost anybody that they shouldn't lose to.
Until they lost to Penn State at the end of the year.
That was the one on Senior Day where they took them for granted, and that was weird. But they made amends going into the Big Ten tournament. So, I don't know. How far do you have them going, Matty?
Where's my bracket? Hold on.
Whiskey? You have them losing to Bama. That's probably who you have them losing to. You have them beating BYU or VCU?
I have BYU knocking out Wisconsin. So I've got BYU going to the Sweet 16.
I have the Badgers beating BYU. So we shall see.
I have the Badgers beating VCU.
VCU?
VCU plays BYU.
Oh, I see them.
Yeah.
Okay, I see them.
And most people have VCU's what, an 11?
They are, and I think a lot of metrics would say they're underseeded a little bit.
A little bit.
They always got a nice little squad over there, VCU. They're a respectable program for sure.
All right, CB, a little fill in the blank.
Yeah, let's talk about the games that actually matter in your bracket. We mentioned the ones that are not going to wreck it. Let's talk about the ones that could. The upset that would shatter your bracket is...
Wreck-It Ralph? Well, here's the deal. All of us went kind of chalky. So there's not really, so I would say in a weird way that Duke is flying somewhat under the radar in our contest. I think people have kind of stayed away from them based on the flag injury. That doesn't seem like an injury now. When I looked through the little VIP and all the stuff we did here, nobody really had Duke winning it all. No, it was Florida's and Houston's, and it was not Duke. In fact, I didn't even see a Duke. So since I have them, I'll say, ironically, the top team would ruin my bracket.
Which is funny because on ESPN, Duke is the most picked champion at 25%.
CB, the upset that will blow up my bracket would be if Creighton messes around and beats Auburn in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I am being a little bit of a prisoner at the moment, but Auburn coming into this tourney, they lost 3 or 4?
That's right.
And so, look, Bruce Pearl's going to have their attention. We know how good Broome is. We know how good their team is. But if they are coming into this thing a little rusty, Creighton's going to go into the next round with a lot of momentum based off of what we're seeing right now against Louisville. So, yeah, if Creighton messed around and beat Auburn, I've got Auburn getting to the Final Four.
Yeah.
That would blow up your boys' bracket.
I like
CB.
that call. You can prove that, Rusty. I would say that the best thing that happened to Auburn is that he has their attention now. That they're not overconfident. I think they have to turn it on, and they know it. And like you just said, this Creighton team, a lot of people marked Auburn for death a little bit in that second round. Yeah. Creighton was the team that got through. So that is going to be a very dangerous game. And I know danger is your middle name, so you'll embrace it.
Yeah, most years it seems like a 1 seed gets knocked out before the second weekend, so we will see if that continues. Number 2, Stephon Diggs visited the Patriots, but his best fit is...
I'm going all in on toxicity here. I'm going all in on what would be the most dramatic wide receiver room in the NFL. I'm sending Stephon Diggs to the Pittsburgh Steelers. DK Metcalf, George Pickens, and Stephon Diggs in the same room. Think about the headlines we get coming out of that locker room throughout the year.
I don't envy the quarterback.
Not at all.
Everybody's open every play.
I don't envy Mike Tomlin either. The babysitting that would have to go down would be absolutely wild. So that's my crazy pick. My serious pick, CB, is the Dallas Cowboys. CD needs a road dog, in my opinion. They need more. They need more. So I'm going to go with, just for fun, for blanks and giggles, the Pittsburgh Steelers. But for real, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys.
So I like that pick. I don't know how good he's going to be coming off the injury and all that.
Yeah.
I think CB's group can use a little boost.
Here we go.
Put him in orange and fudge. Why not? Judy, Tillman, him, and Njoku.
Tillman's done.
He's not. Is he done?
Well, I just don't know. I mean, he's been in the league.
Tillman was pretty interesting towards the end of last year before he had his concussion.
I need Tillman as my number 3, though, CB.
That's why I got Diggs there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll take care of that with the second pick or the first pick of the second round.
They could do that too. He's not a number 1 anymore, Diggs, but I think I could put him there. I could also put him on the Packers. I think that he could provide them, even though they've been a little bit of a mash unit, so it would sound kind of stupid to take a guy who's injured. But
no, I like your call.
Watson was supposed to be that guy, and he hasn't been. And the Packers have a lot of salary cap.
You can't rely on Watson. You know, just year in and year out, it's always something. He's got crazy amounts of talent. But yeah, getting a vet in that room, I would like that for them. The news that came out yesterday after we left was Diggs is visiting with New England.
Yeah.
So they need all the playmakers that they can get over there to help Drake May out. So I absolutely would see the vision there.
So that's interesting you just said that, because I have the same feel if he would go to Cleveland, if there's a young quarterback there, that he would provide them a little, mentor, a young signal caller.
Mm-hmm. All right, number 3, let's discuss the food spread when you go home today to watch the rest of Thursday's games. Your ideal tournament watching food spread is?
Well, home is not going to be, I don't know if I have this is a 2-pronged question. What I really want and what I really have.
You're throwing on the pizza sweats and putting something in the oven.
Yeah, you got to have some frozen pizzas on deck.
No, there's plenty of pizza, but that's a meal. That's not a snack. That's not I'm watching games.
Okay.
Because I tend to eat pretty fast, like a chore. And if I'm done with the pizza, what do I do for the second half?
Yeah, my mom and dad would always say to me, it ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Slow down, playa. They didn't call me.
Hold up, playa.
I made that up.
For me, if you just gave me the choice right now, and we're watching games in here, and if we could have done this for 3 hours, if you give me like a really, really good chip and guac, I'm good for 3 hours. I'd eat a tub of that. So for me, it's chips and guac. And the other part is kind of underrated. I like cracking peanuts from the shell and just down in those, like I'm at a ball game. So.
Okay. I'm big into right now this brand Siete salt and vinegar chips. You'll find those at Fresh Time, CB. So I got some of those on deck. They got a really good queso chip as well. So I'm into like the whole gluten-free, all that nonsense, right? I know that sounds boring, but yeah, for these type of days, I like to get my little snack on. They do good tortilla chips. They do good potato chips. They do good cookies, gluten-free, vegan stuff. So I'm going to go with some of those Siete salt and vinegar chips I got at the crib right now and probably drink about 5 to 10 Gatorade Zeros. It's probably where I'm at before I get to dinner tonight.
All right, let's do one more here. The NFL rule change you want to see happen is...
Do any of these rule changes actually get done? I thought about this, too, after we left yesterday. Like, these proposals that happen for me or for the teams, I'm like, do we really get changes? Or is the NFL just like, yeah, give us your proposals. We'll get to them when we get to them, wink, wink, a.k.a. never. The rule change that I would like to see... Good question. I would like... and this is going to get real complicated, but I would like to see the ability to challenge holds or non-holds. That's going to get a little messy. Like if there's a holding or, when a defensive player feels like he was held, I'd like to be able to challenge that.
Well, you'd have to have the ISO on that guy, right? You'd have to have the cameras and all the technology where you're ISOing that guy at that time and where a coach sees it and spots it. It should be, because if it's an egregious hold, it would be right where the action is. Mm-hmm. So that wouldn't be a bad thing. I think that Joe Theismann agrees with you, and I brought to the table the other day that you should be able to challenge anything and everything, but it's not like you're getting more challenges. You have to be right to get more. You could use it on something like that if you felt it was a key play. You want to know what's funny is that, and I mentioned this to Aeneas Williams when we had him on, in that Super Bowl that they lost, when Kurt Warner threw that pick six to Law, I think Vrabel smacked, when he was rushing unblocked from the left end, smacked Kurt Warner in the face with his right hand. And today, that's obviously you're not getting away with that. Right. And so, yeah, to challenge anything and everything wouldn't be a bad deal. I was thinking about maybe, do they still do the defensive pass interference as a spot, you get all the way where it happens, the
which
yardage.
Is ridiculous.
I think, that's why that one's coming to the table, because what it does is it tips the field so much in favor of the offense to try to take the shot and hope to get a PI. If it was only 15, I think it'd be appropriate.
I completely agree with you on that, because some of those penalties can turn into 30,
It's
40,
the college rule.
50-yard penalties.
That's
and it's
right.
like, my goodness. Let's just make it 15. I'm with you on that.
The problem is, well, I don't even know what the problem is. I just know they're erring so much inside of the quarterbacks that would. But you're taking away that gamble Hail Mary shot just to get DPI, and if you get it, you get all the yardage, and I think that's wrong.
I agree.
All right, we'll come back with Buckeye Bulletin, and we talk quarterbacks, we'll talk running backs. Could be a big year for them as well at Ohio State. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Montana, Bettis, Horning, and Brown, some of the greatest of all time, kicked off their careers in South Bend. You can celebrate Notre Dame football's impact on the professional game by visiting the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton to experience gold helmet to gold jacket March 14th through April 27th. And register to win our grand prize at 971thefan.com/goldjacket. One winner will receive 2 tickets to the Hall of Fame game, enshrinement ceremony, and the Hall of Fame Museum. That's 971thefan.com/goldjacket.
At NJM Insurance, we're like a symphony. It all starts by doing the right thing. Add in dedicated reps and put policyholders first. But no jingles or mascots, because it's just not us. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
The madness is finally here. No, literally. It's here at Hollywood Casino Columbus at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. The Fan is throwing 24 hours of watch parties this glorious weekend. We even have our own custom shirts for you to win. The biggest screens, incredible food, and madness contests like horse and a 3-point shootout. Grab your friends and your bracket and join the Fan at Hollywood Casino Columbus and the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Reserve a table at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
March is on at Lindsay Honda.
Shoot your shot and save.
It's madness. You get to choose your finance rate on over 600 new Lindsay Hondas. 0%, 1.9, 2.9, and up to a full 60 months long. And no trade-in required. This deal works with 0 down. March is on at Lindsay Honda. Save with rates as low as 0% at lindsayhonda.com.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference.
See lindsayhonda.com for details.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Choose Logan Services for savings up to $2,000 on a qualifying train system and 0% APR financing for 60 months. It's hard to stop a train. Estimates are free and installation takes just 1 day. Logan Services.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-452-6262. That's 800-452-6262. Again, that's 800-452-6262.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Federal Elite Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, Buckeye Bulletin time. A little good Ohio State hoop news, even being on the outside looking into the big dance, that Marcus Johnson, who is now Mr. Basketball in the state of Ohio and the Gatorade Player of the Year, took home those awards, and he is a Buckeye commit. So let's hope that happens. Continues to be heading to Columbus. He led Ohio High School Division III in the state Final Four this season. He's very, very good. And he's... So give me... Is he Michi's cousin?
I believe that's the relation, yes.
He's definitely a part of the bloodline. So if Michi is Roman Reigns, he would be like Jimmy or Jey Uso, one of the cousins. Yeet. No, that's a tremendous honor. Obviously, I know some people... friends of mine that coach, high school basketball in the state, and they say he's one of those ones, AR. Like he's special, right, out there. And so hopefully that commitment sticks and that he can be one of those game-changing type of talents to come to Ohio State and get this thing rolling. So absolutely credit to him for putting in the work and continuing to be one of the best high school players in the state because he can go. He's special.
Well, let's hope that all stays in a good shape, because it's such a mystery around Michi and what happened there. I mean, 11 Warriors did get a quote from Diebler on that he talked to him or talked to Marcus and talked really highly about Jake. And I think the money quote was that he was definitely locked in to Ohio State, that nothing has changed there.
We shall see. Yeah. Hopefully that's the case. You know, things can change in a blink of an eye, especially in this era of college athletics. You never know. But, yeah, that'd be a tremendous get, obviously, for Jake and the gang, getting him down here and get him out there in the hardwood sooner rather than later.
All right, we'll talk Buckeye running backs with you. James Peoples, his time to shine, and he is following some greats, and he is embracing that privilege and that honor of being that guy.
I mean, it's a great honor. I mean, this is RBU, and it always has been since I was growing up watching them. So to be the next one in line, potentially, you know, I got to work for it, but, you know, it's an honor, and I take it humbly, and, you know, there's a lot that goes with that, so that's an honor.
Might be 1A and 1B, you never know, with Peoples and Donaldson who transferred in.
That's what you want,
Might be a combo platter.
Yeah, that's what you want, right? If you're Coach Lachlan is, you know, you want to have 2-3 guys you're confident in. Hey, when their number's called, our play is not going to drop off as a running back room. And then big picture, it's this program's expected to be in the playoff and make noise in the playoff, you know, year in and year out. And so depth is huge, especially at that position with how physically demanding it is. So I cannot wait to see what this room has to offer. So much buzz last year about James Peoples. You bring in C.J. Donaldson, who's talking about getting his body right and all that stuff here already at Ohio State. And then Coach Lachlan and what you hear about him and how great he is as a motivator and how good he is just as a running back coach, too. I'm expecting big things from that room. Like, the bar is set very high, not only based off the history of what he was just talking about, but current history and what we just saw from Quinshon and Travion and those guys being key parts of Ohio State winning yet another national championship.
Yeah, they might share snaps. Some guys may get some key snaps. We talked to our guy Stephen Means earlier in the week about young Bo Jackson as well.
Incredible.
In that mix.
Isn't it Bo Lamar Jackson? Or is it Lamar Bo Jackson?
I think it's Lamar Bo.
Incredible. I think Bo's the nickname.
Yeah,
I think his name is Lamar Jackson.
Would make sense.
Incredible. Named after two greats.
And isn't Anthony Rogers, isn't he Turbo?
That's right.
Yeah.
I love it. C.J. Donaldson said he's lost some weight. He's feeling like Flash over there. Coach Maratti's got him feeling right. He's running so fast, he feels like he's Flash.
He also answered the question about what separated Ohio State from the others in the portal.
It was, difficult. I like to say it's like fast dating, speed dating, I like to say. There's a lot of calls, a lot of red carpet talk. But what separated the Buckeyes from every other program was, I like to say Coach Locke. And, Coach Day and Coach Mick had a big impact on it. But Coach Locke, he told me that he would challenge me and help me develop into the player that I know I could be.
How much red carpet talk have you received in your life? That seems like something that's happened for you a lot.
Red carpet talk?
I've never heard that until he just said it, and I'm going to have to start using it.
I've had the red carpet pulled out from under me many times. I don't think...
Wait, so you're not supposed to be on this red carpet. Security? No, but listen.
What is that, velvet?
Yeah, what is it, velvet? Yeah, he comes from West V. Hopefully he can make an impact the way, Quinshon did. He's got some experience, played at the D1 level, high level. But, yeah, there's so much to offer right now for Ohio State. It's what he talked about with Coach Day, being one of the best coaches in the country, Coach Lachlan, one of the best running back coaches in the country, and being a part of, a fraternity, right, that has so many great running backs, Archie, Eddie, Zeke. I mean, we know the names. The list goes on, and hopefully for CJ and James and Jackson, those guys can be, one of the next greats.
You had 2 1,000-yard rushers this year.
Yeah, some dogs.
That's quite a bar for these guys to look at and try to rise above it and see what happens. So that would be incredible.
One of the biggest bars that they're going to have to live up to as a whole is the job that Travion Henderson did protecting the quarterback. Like, I was looking at some of his stuff, and some of these NFL draft analysts are really shining a light on that for Travion and how that's going to be so attractive. And that's how you really gain the trust, I would have to imagine, of Coach Day and Coach Lachlan is, one, taking care of the football, not putting it on the turf, but on money down, where Julian, Lincoln, Tavion, whoever it's going to be, is dropping back. You protect your guy. Travion was a beast last year at blocking.
Trying to think if anyone will come near. I wouldn't think even Julian's not going to come near 100 carries like Will did.
I wouldn't think. I wouldn't think and that's the fun part of this.
That goes to the running backs now.
We really don't know the skill sets of these quarterbacks. Haven't seen them.
Take 50 more carries and hand them to these running backs.
They wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
All right, that's today's Buckeye Bulletin. All right, we got March Madness heating up. We've got games underway. We don't have any finals yet. One's looking like it will be a final, and that's Creighton beating Louisville right now, and Purdue beating High Point, and Wisconsin beating Montana. Right now, it's going pretty much as planned, except I think Louisville was a slight favorite. The other thing I just witnessed is that Louisville lost a pretty big player. One of their top 3 scorers, Smith, I think, got carried off the court when they were trying to make a comeback, and they were within like 12 or 13. So,
yeah, that's tough. That's tough. And, it's sad is that, unfortunately, when I see a Louisville player go down, my mind goes to the horrific.
Yeah, the leg.
Oh, my gosh. Was it Ware?
3-pointer.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, I almost fainted seeing that. That was what I think the most gruesome injury I've seen live outside of Kevin Ware. Thank you, CB. And then the Gordon Hayward ankle turn in Cleveland. Those two, I was like, yeah, I'm good.
The Kevin Ware had the Joe Theismann-esque.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That's
the
one.
Don't look at that if you haven't seen it.
You don't need that today.
Yeah, exactly.
Celebrate hoops today.
Exactly.
We'll celebrate with our guy, Scotty Vegas. He's got the insight. Who he bet on, who everyone is betting on, and where the smart money should be in this tournament. We'll check in with him next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Thanks. I got to warn you, I drive a hard bargain. Okay. So let's hear your first offer.
Well, how about with any 4-tire purchase, we'll give you a free alignment.
Man, I'm good. All right, let's do it before you change your mind.
And we'll also give you a free oil change.
Ha! I can't believe I talked you into this deal. Sometimes I amaze even myself.
Don't tell accounting. But with any 4-tire purchase at Tire Discounters, you get a free alignment and a free full synthetic oil change. See store for details.
Everybody poops, everybody pees. Mommy, will you call Mr. Rooter, please? 'Cause I gotta poop and I gotta pee. Only Mr. Rooter can clear the drain for me. Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
Hi, everybody. We call it what it is at Mr. Rooter. When you have a plumbing or drain problem, the team at Mr. Rooter is ready 7 days a week. Call us today and take advantage of our $95 drain cleaning special. Visit us at MrRooter.com. We'll be there quick.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get mulch ready for the season. Now through April 5th, get 5 bags of red, black, or brown mulch for just $10.95. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your yard with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
Miss, your burger is served.
Thank you.
And if I may suggest a pairing, this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. The sweetness of Pepsi perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger, while the citrus and carbonation elevates the taste for a truly stunning flavor profile. Bon appetit.
Now that is one perfect combination. If this is how the other half lives, I could get used to this. Burgers deserve Pepsi.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, people are officially going crazy over our sleek, black-framed windows. They change the entire look of a home.
Leslie, nobody believes that just black frames can change the look of a home.
It's like when Superman put on his black-framed glasses and became Clark Kent.
Wait a second. Clark Kent is Superman? Are you messing with me right now?
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota. Swing by Germain Toyota and ask for Marcello and discover unbeatable deals and a wide selection of new and certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Visit them at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but
They outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint. Let's trade lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Buying a home used to feel like a complete headache. Listings here, pre-approval there, financing somewhere else. Now, Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com. A single seamless homeownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and refinance your home. Everything you need, all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com, the new home for all things homeownership. Rocket. Own the dream.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry! Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry. Terry! Terry! Keep awkwardly chanting your own name, Terry. You deserve it. Woo! Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever. That's 4 lines on unlimited welcome for just $25 a line per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. You'll also get the new iPhone 16 Pro, 4 of them for the entire family when you trade in up to 4 phones from our top brands. That's a new phone for everyone, only on the network you can count on. Verizon. Visit a store today. 20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartemus. Welcome to March Madness. We got 3 games underway at the moment. Once upon a time, Creighton and Louisville was a close game. That is no longer the case. Creighton's got a stranglehold on that one. Purdue is a pretty comfortable lead over High Point. We just came out of halftime in that one. And Wisconsin and Montana have tipped off. Wisconsin out to a slight lead early there. That is a 3-14 matchup. And our first 1 seed of the day will be taking the court here real soon. Houston and SIUE will be added to our slate in just a moment. And to whom it may concern, Michigan plays UC San Diego at 10 this evening, but you know how time fluctuates with these things. And don't forget about that Blue Jackets hockey tonight either. The Panthers are coming to town. The puck will drop at 7. It will be right here on The Fan, and our pregame coverage will begin at 6:30. This update is brought to you by Germain Toyota, the best selection of new and used cars in Central Ohio. View their full selection of vehicles online at germaintoyota.net.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, final hour of the program. We'll talk Buckeye football with our friend Chase Brown at 2:30. Right now, we'll talk March Madness. And I'll tell you this at the beginning of the show. So there are a few great days that the reason you would get into this business, and this is one of them, to get paid to watch basketball. Now, there are levels of getting paid to watch basketball, and then there are levels. Mm-hmm. And the guy that's out at Hollywood Casino, our guy Scotty Vegas, that's a level that you and I will never see.
Yeah, Scotty's in the penthouse suite right now of March Madness watching.
He's in some sort of Barca lounger with tickets and betting slips and all sorts of stuff and food and drink and everything he needs. Now, before we bring him on the program, I will tell you that in the beginning, I've identified this as one of the most top-heavy tournaments we've ever seen. I'm not going out on a limb, but I'll say this. If we got a Cinderella champ this year, I would be as blown away as any year I've ever watched the tournament. And that's because when I look at the teams that are at the top, Duke, Florida, Auburn, Houston, those teams, if you go to the analytics on this, to put it in perspective, 4 teams, for 20 years, between 2002 and 2024, 4 teams finished a season with a net rating of at least plus 35, okay? Kansas in 08, UK. Why are you smiling over there?
So I'm just kind of taking some notes from what's happening in this Louisville-Creighton game. It looks like Pat Kelsey, the head coach for Louisville, might have got a technical because a fan threw a water bottle on the court.
Nice. Well, they got to stop momentum. You got to halt momentum any way you can.
Hey, listen, whatever it takes. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
So for 20 years, you had 4 teams that had a net rating of plus 35. 08 Kansas, the Kentucky team in 15, the Zags a few years ago, and UConn. And there are 4 teams this year alone that are better than that mark.
Okay.
4 teams over 20 years, and the 4 teams this year have a higher mark than those.
Well,
so
listen,
that's what I'm telling you. There's a top tier this year, Maddie, that looks to be, if I gave you Duke, Florida, Auburn, and Houston or the field,
you're rolling.
You better take the 4.
You're rolling with them. And real quick before we bring Scotty on, that's music to my ears. Mm-hmm. Because as the show's Cinderella hater, I don't need Cinderella's getting past the Sweet 16. You get to the Sweet 16, you're done. I want to see headliners.
Yeah,
Sorry.
You want to see Cinderella and the turn into that pumpkin very early.
You want
a wheel to get blown out on that carriage very early.
I don't need Cinderellas in the Elite 8. I'm sorry. Does nothing for me.
All right. Scotty Vegas is our man, handicapper to the stars, and he's with us now on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Did you hear any of my humble analysis, sir?
I absolutely did. And I will tell you guys, I'm coming to you live right now from a kiosk where I am staring at these live lines, and I'm watching them change as we go. And yes, you're right. There's absolutely the favorites. I'll tell you, I asked the guys at the casino here, who are the most bet on teams to win it all? And I want you both to take a guess at here in Columbus at the casino what the most bet on team to win it all is.
Ooh. Scotty, I'm going to go with the Florida Gators.
And I am going to say, boy, this should have no geographical feel, should it?
He's trying to fool us with some trickery, it sounds like.
The most bet on team. I'll go with Duke.
Okay, Duke is not in the top 3.
That's amazing.
Maddie, you are correct as far as Florida is in the top 3, but they're the 3rd most bet on team to win it all. Wow. The most bet on team is actually Auburn, with Houston number 2. So Houston is the 2nd most bet on team to win it all. Auburn is number 1. And it's funny, as I asked, we're in the casino and there's just hundreds of people here watching. And over the mic, I said, hey, who do you think the most bet on team is? And Houston and Florida were also expected ahead of Auburn. And Auburn was like the 8th guess. So I was a little surprised Auburn was the most bet on team to win it all as well.
Yeah, I mean, because they were a little bit out of sight, out of mind coming in. Not that they weren't strong. They were 1 seed, so you can't ignore them. But they were bad coming in, and I'm wondering, now, I think if you like him, you like him. And I said to Maddie earlier, Scotty, that sometimes when you have a really good team, getting them refocused and motivated to prove people wrong is great. It's a great recipe for success. Is there a middle-range dog that you have value on right now that you want to see go to the Final Four or beyond?
Geez, to get to the Final Four, I'm like you. I was mostly chalk as far as to get to the Final Four. I mean, my Final Four is the one team that I think is kind of interesting value-wise, I guess, would be St. John's. And I know they're in a tough region with Florida, but I just love the way they play. And with Rick Pitino, obviously not a huge underdog, but I think most people have Florida in the Final Four. A lot of people have them winning it all. I think St. John's is that sneaky team. I will tell you, here at the casino, it's amazing because everybody has so much action. But how about the fact that the very first game of March Madness, we're likely to see an upset to start it, right? So we've got Creighton up 16 on Louisville. Louisville was heavily bet here at the casino. In fact, guys, this is crazy. The biggest parlay of the day was Louisville money line and Purdue money line at $7,500. Somebody placed that today. I was talking to the guy. He placed at $7,500 Louisville and Purdue. He's like, I just want to get my March Madness started out right. And it's not going to get started out right for him.
It's a little bold. I mean, the Purdue one is fine, but I mean, Louisville was what, a 3.5 point favorite, and it's an 8-9 game, and Creighton is was everyone's little darling as well. I don't know how you could have been overconfident in taking Louisville unless you just thought that playing in Lexington was going to be above and beyond a home court type advantage for them. And hopefully he hedged at halftime or got out somehow.
Hey, well, he couldn't get out. They were down big at the half. Now, I will tell you the top 3 most bet-on games of the day here at the casino. And number 1 surprised me. It's actually McNeese State and Clemson. That's the most bet-on game. And then number 2 is Purdue and High Point. People are all over Purdue in the Big Ten. That's actually a relatively close game. And then number 3 was Gonzaga, Georgia. So those are the 3 most bet-on games. But yeah, it's a wild ride here because the scene is awesome because everybody's got different bets. There's hundreds of people. People are screaming at the end of the first half for random things to happen. People are yelling and screaming at the end of games. I mean, it's just intense because everybody's got all kinds of different ways that they've wagered these games.
Yes, I'm sure that's a cool scene for sure. Scotty, I want to ask you this. Is there any advice you can give us listeners when it comes to betting March Madness? Like, it always gets crazy at some point in time, but has there been a trend that you followed over the last few years that's led you to feel comfortable when it comes to betting anything specific when we talk March Madness?
I know that everybody loves to do the parlays. Like, we all love to put together 4 and 5 and just keep adding things to it. But truthfully, if you want to make money, sports betting, stay away from the parlays. I know it's so attractive to do. I know when you have a $20 bet to win $200, it's fun. It's exciting. But if you're truly trying to make money in games, stay away from doing parlays. Now, I will say one thing that I do like to do is I like to move lines a little bit. So I was looking at this Auburn-Alabama State line. Auburn's a 32.5-point favorite. Auburn has been playing poorly. Anthony, you talked about it. I think they've lost 3 of their last 4. So for me, I think they're going to come out and try and make a statement in this first game. They've played a schedule of SEC powerhouses for 3 months. I think they are going to want to take it out on Alabama State. That line's 32.5. I moved it down a little bit, so I've got it at 28.5. But I like Auburn to cover. And then the other thing that I like to look at is try and find one of those 50-50 type games. And for me, VCU-BYU, that one's going to start about 4 o'clock. I watched VCU. They play a really, really tough defense. Watch them through their conference tournament. Love the havoc that they create. I'm actually jealous because I would love for Ohio State basketball to play a defensive style like VCU. I kind of like VCU plus the points against BYU.
Okay, good. I like that as well. I mean, it's going against the grain a little bit because BYU is a little bit of a fun favorite, and that High Point team is staying with Purdue right now, down 5. That would be, I mean, the thing about High Point is they've won like 14 straight games, and they're top 10 in shooting percentage, so they can hang in this. And we know this about Purdue. Just ask Fairleigh Emily Dickinson about that a couple of years ago. They know all about getting hammered out of the tournament early. But, all right, don't throw anything. Stay happy out there, and we appreciate the advice, my man.
Oh, I love it. Thanks for having me on. And, guys, we've got custom shirts we're giving away. We got
save one of those for me.
What time? How long?
Oh, absolutely.
How long are you going to be there, Scotty?
We're here noon to 6 today, tomorrow. We're here 3 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, Hollywood Casino. Having a blast. 32-foot screen divided up by all 4 games going at once. It is hoops heaven here.
I think the phrase is all day, all damn night.
There you go.
I think is the phrase. All right, keep those bets churning, bud.
Thanks, guys.
Save me a shirt as well. You know what I think he said? You know what his gambling advice is? Gambling advice was very similar to what they would say in the movie Moneyball.
Yeah.
When Billy Bean was telling Peter Brand how to trade a guy and just rip the band-aid off, tell him, you've been traded, this is the secretary, this is the number you call. He says to him, would you rather take a bullet to the head or 5 to the chest and bleed out? And what Scotty's advice there was, just go ahead. Don't bleed your money out.
Because he's right. When you start,
make the singular bet.
You start stacking up that parlay, it gets more attractive by the leg.
Of course. It's low risk, high reward.
Yeah.
And then you just bleed out.
And they rarely ever cash.
And the question you have to ask me is, are those my only 2 options? With gambling, maybe so. All right, we're going to come back with a little bit of talk about Aaron Rodgers, and one guy saying that the Vikes have done the right thing. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
This promo is brought to you by Common Man and Timmy Hall's Ping Pong Game. The Fan.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yeah,
that's you taking another sip of your Do the Do.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
The best matchup this month is you in a new ride. From Coghlan Ford, get a new 2024 Ford F-150 with prices as low as $45,940, or buy a new 2024 Super Duty starting at under $49,000 during Ford Truck Month. Visit CoghlanFord.com.
All factory rebates to dealer. All prior sales excluded. In-stock units only. No security deposit required. Residency restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/25.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hit a home run for happy hour and ask your Twin Peaks girl about local specials on drafts, cocktails, shots, and more.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall, and it is my time of year. And when it comes to college basketball and March Mania, you got to expect one thing: the unexpected. Buzzer beaters, upsets, last-second miracles, blue bloods being toppled. It's all going to happen, so bet the unexpected. Every upset every day with DraftKings Sportsbook. With live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays, DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination for March. First time, here's something special. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TheFan971. That's code TheFan971. And new customers get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, Ohio only. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Here's 3 reasons to buy your Blue Jackets ticket plans for the 25-26 season. 1, pick your seat and pick your games. 2, plans start at just 11 games. 3, priority access to Stanley Cup playoff tickets. Act now. Visit bluejackets.com/tickets.
Oh, hey, a fan show where you can be the star. Sundays at 11 is the new Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Your calls, your tweets, your voicemails, your opinions. You can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Your family may not listen to you, but we will. The Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Sundays at 11 on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton.
ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
Some foot issues just can't be fixed by those expensive shoe stores or shoe inserts. A foot exam from a doctor of podiatric medicine, who is the medical expert in foot and ankle care, may give solutions after doing a complete foot examination. If you suffer from foot, heel, or ankle pain, let us help you find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association so you know you are being treated by the very best.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Cloudy today along with a few showers, high around 48. Tonight, the showers move out and we clear up, low 28. Sunny tomorrow, high 54. Mostly cloudy on your Saturday with a few early showers, high 53. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, Ice, Bet365 time.
Let's get into it because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 has launched an awesome new sign-up offer. You bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets. Whether your bet wins or loses, customers will receive bonus bets after signing up.
All right, I'm not going to take Scotty's advice. I am going to do a little bit of a parlay here. But it's going to be a semi-safe. I'll just get it to even money. And for tonight's games, I'll take the Zags to beat Georgia, just money line it. Zags, Kansas, and St. John's, and that's even money.
And
those three.
Just to make sure I heard Scotty correctly, he said a man over there, what did he say?
Lost 7,500 on the Creighton-Purdue parlay. It doesn't matter what happens in the Purdue game. He's going to lose. He had Louisville.
There's definitely some sticker shock there. That dude's living well.
Yeah, I think the quote was, I just want to get my March Madness started off right. How about ease into the water a little bit? Just jump in the deep end.
Can we do $75? Even $750? I mean, God.
By the way, that's not a conservative play. Louisville was not a big favorite.
It's an 8-9 matchup.
Was everybody's pick anyway.
Yeah, I know it. I hear you for sure. I'm looking at some Lakers-Bucks action tonight. Give me Dame Dollar. Damian Lillard, 4 3-pointers made, plus 120. No Luka in this game. So for the Lakers, Hillbilly Kobe, a.k.a. Austin Reeves, is going to have to hold it down. But I'm looking at Damian Lillard, plus 120 to knock in 4 3 balls, one of the best offensive players of his generation. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Today, 21 plus only. You must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Told you this game was over in the first 90 seconds, Maddie.
Yeah,
I had a feeling. All right.
It's a wrap.
It is a wrap.
High Point's trying to hang with Purdue, but they just knocked down the 3-ball to take it back to 9. But 59-50, Purdue up on High Point with about 8.5 to go in the second half.
And Wisconsin's up 8 on Montana at a half. And Houston's up massive on whoever in the world they're playing.
27-9.
SIU Edwardsville.
Okay.
I don't know. Where the hell is that at, CB?
It's got to be down in Carbondale, Illinois. One of the little annex little universities down there. All right, we will get into the NFL a little bit. Dan Orlovsky on ESPN, I think he's kind of leading the charge. This is the majority opinion that most teams need to stay away from Aaron Rodgers regardless, and he thought the Vikes did the smart thing.
He wants to go to a place that, one, can win and believe in that, and then 2, he can play to the level that he wants to play at, and he knows he needs the support to do that. And at least you hear conversations that the desire for him is Minnesota. That's the starting point for him. And now Minnesota is thinking about it. I have been outspoken. If I was Minnesota or in that building, I would not do that. There's nothing negative against Aaron. I just feel that once Minnesota let Sam Darnold walk out of their building, they made a clear line of demarcation. We are moving forward with J.J. McCarthy. And I think that's the right decision. Do I think if Aaron goes there, he would play well? I think a lot of quarterbacks that go to Minnesota would play well. But I think just in that moment, Minnesota, let's go to the future. And if not Minnesota, I would imagine he's planning for, well, if Minnesota comes to him and says no, then is it Pittsburgh? And does he want to go to Pittsburgh? Does he think he could play well in Pittsburgh? Does he think they can win in Pittsburgh? And one of the things, Kay, that hasn't been talked about enough, in my opinion, by a lot of people is Aaron has run the same offense for the most part for, let's call it 10 years, if not 20. Minnesota's offense is very different than the one that he's at least been in comfort-wise. He's not a guy that loves a ton of motion, or he at least hasn't done it a lot lately. He's not a guy that loves a ton of different formations. And that's something that is the backbone of Minnesota. So, does he want to go to a Minnesota or a Pittsburgh knowing you're going to run very different schemes and probably some language that he hasn't done?
Well, it sounds like he and Tomlin have a little bit of an affection for each other. And he does know that at least Pittsburgh's always in the postseason in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. He would have DK Metcalf there. He'd have Pickens there. Maybe with a veteran quarterback, Pickens will fall in line as well. To me, Matty, the biggest odds here are Pittsburgh, or he just hangs it up. Or hangs it up to wait and see if somebody gets him off his couch later on. The Giants certainly are in play, but everything else to me is very low.
I agree. The one thing you got to ask yourself, too, when it comes to Rodgers is, like, not only what are we going to get on the field, but it's also, do you want to sign up for the Aaron Rodgers stuff that comes along with him? And there was he and the Saleh situation was odd, but those guys sending out different messages to the media about minicamp and all that stuff, and you never know what he's going to say on McAfee, and is he going to try to come into your building and bring in the likes of the Lazards and the Randall Cobbs and, his boys, like, in Devontae. Like, do you want to deal with all of that, especially if it's not going to come with elite quarterback play? Like, when he's playing at an MVP level, yeah, you can sign up for that all day and tomorrow because it's worth it. At this point in his career, the on-the-field product from Aaron Rodgers is very much a peaks and valleys experience. And so if I'm Minnesota, I'd stay away as well. I'd stay away. I'd bring in a guy like a Jameis Winston behind a JJ. And that, I'm not even talking about the football stuff. I'm just talking about, a motivator, a good teammate, because Jameis seemed to be that guy last year up in Cleveland. I don't know how they felt being around him every day, but the energy that he gave off was, hey, I'm all in. We're just trying to help the Browns and trying to help at the time Deshaun when he was healthy and all those things. So I think if you can find that type of vet behind JJ, that'd be the move for me if I'm Minnesota.
I don't mind that at all, because if it's between him and Carson Wentz to back up J.J. McCarthy, Jameis kind of been there, done that.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. That sounds right. The whole thing about Aaron Rodgers is that, and Cam Hayward verbalized this, he's not the we hope we get him guy anymore. He isn't. He's intriguing, and he's got ability still. The only thing I would say to your thing about do you really want to put up with all this stuff, I wonder if this would be his last year. Like one more run, one season, whether he could put all that crap aside and just make a run. Unless he's got a more of an advanced feel on his longevity. Maybe he thinks he has 2 or 3 years left. I don't know.
I think he is who he is.
He is, but I'm just saying when it comes down to one season.
I don't know. Because I thought that would be the vibe we get from him in New York. Going to a great opportunity.
It got hurt so early.
Well, I'm just saying, putting all that stuff to the side, and that's his DNA. That's how he's wired. He's always going to be that guy. I'd be really surprised if he went elsewhere and changed who he is as a guy and a leader, now. But maybe, but I wouldn't bet on that.
All right, those are your pre-snap reads for today. Your read on a new vehicle has to be with my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Talked to my friend Jerry today, and he will connect you with one of their hundreds of used and certified used vehicles you can check out on their site right now on GermainHondaofDublin.com, which I do all the time. And they've got great deals. Their rates are starting as low as 0%. Rich has leases that are wonderful. They can design one for you. $249 a month they can start from. That new Honda Prologue, which I'm sure you've seen on the road. You're like, what is that? It is very intriguing. And it's the all-wheel drive Elite. You can lease it for $297 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles, only $19.99 down. He's going to give you an extra $1,000 for your trade. And like I said, they have hundreds of new and pre-owned to choose from. Go see them for the details. Germain Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, and check them out, all those rides at GermainHondaofDublin.com. When we come back, we'll dive back into Ohio State football. Is there a weakness on this team? It's hard to believe there could be one. We'll ask Chase Brown next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Hoops fans, are you ready to score big and get lucky this March? What's up? It's T-Bone. I'm here to tell you that Bud Light will be holding mini hoops challenges at bars and restaurants across town over the next several weeks with one goal in mind, to send one lucky local winner to Las Vegas where they'll compete for $10,000. Take your shot at March Madness glory. This week, join Bud Light and watch some hoops on Saturday afternoon as they take over Pastimes Grandview and Grandview Yard. They'll be there from 2 to 6 p.m. and have a mini hoops basketball challenge that'll give you a shot at a Vegas trip and $10,000.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping. And you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota. Swing by Germain Toyota and ask for Marcello and discover unbeatable deals and a wide selection of new and certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Visit them at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Maddie ranked the most dynamic duo of all time, Caesar Salad and Moscow Mule. This is Rothman and Ice.
All right, back at it. Ohio State spring football in play now. And I know the microscope will be on the quarterbacks, rightfully so. It's the most pivotal position. None of them have big experience, so they'll be the ones to watch. But the guys who protect them, they were a big story this year, and how they had to Band-Aid that together and did it wonderfully with Luke, and he'll be back. And then you got Shabola and Saraveld, who also saw time in Hinsman. And I wonder if it's looked at as a real strength this spring, or one that, again, has to be developed and watched. The guy to ask about that is my man Chase Brown from 11 Warriors, the great Buckeye beat reporter. Chase, good to have you, my man.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me on.
Last time I saw you, we were riding an elevator together at the Shoe to watch a hockey game or a practice.
Yeah, that was quite the experience. I definitely had a lot of fun covering that. Different than a game day Saturday, covering Ohio State for sure.
Give me your take on kind of what I just threw out there about this offensive line. How is it being looked at this spring? How much do they feel they have a solid core back, and how much they need to develop?
Yeah, after Monday's practice, we talked with Ryan Day, and he emphasized that Ohio State wants to do a lot of cross-training this offseason with guys like Austin Sierraveld and Luke Montgomery, just to build depth on the offensive line. Ryan Day seems concerned, might not be the best word, but just aware that the roster sizes are going to change moving forward in college football from the 120 to the 105 number, which does probably cut into Ohio State's offensive line depth with guys going down the line from scholarships to walk-on players. So having guys that are versatile and are able to kick out from guard to tackle like Donovan Jackson was last year, or move in from tackle to guard like Luke Montgomery was, having as much depth and as much guys that are able to play multiple spots is going to be really important for Ohio State moving forward.
Chase, let's talk about some running back stuff here. We were reacting earlier to some C.J. Donaldson sound, and I think you were over there yesterday, and the running backs spoke a little bit to you guys. But just talk about what you think they acquired via the portal and C.J. Donaldson, and what you've seen from him out there in the very early portion of the spring practices.
Yeah, he probably had the quote of the day yesterday. He said that he lost 18 pounds this winter, and he feels like he's running around like the Flash. I don't know if I've ever heard of somebody losing weight that quickly. So Carlos Laughlin was very complimentary of the hard work that Donaldson put in the very brief time with Coach Mick and the strength and conditioning program. And Coach Locke was challenging him pretty much all winter to make sure that he had his weight down to a manageable number so that he could be somebody that Ohio State could rely on to give more reps. I know that they're really excited about what James Peoples can bring as a sophomore in his development behind Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins last year, but to have a guy that's veteran and has experience like Donaldson, to be able to lean on him for a significant amount of carries might be something that they ask him to do. So having his weight in a manageable spot and having him be able to fly around like the Flash is something that I'm sure excites them a lot.
One of the great guys on the beat, Chase Brown, 11 Warriors with us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. All right, Chase, Will Howard, I think, had over 100 carries himself last year. What's your prediction on whichever quarterback is the guy to lead Ohio State? How many carries? Where does the running game go with the quarterback out of design? It obviously depends on which guy it is, but give me your take on that, because they've always tried to use the quarterback as an extra back if they can.
Right. Yeah, I think what you just said is probably what I'm thinking as well, depending on who wins this quarterback competition, whether it is Lincoln Kienholz or whether it is Julian Sayin or Tavian St. Clair. I think that probably depends on the number of carries that each of those guys will get. I know they really love the athleticism that Lincoln Kienholz has, someone that was a three-sport athlete in high school between football, basketball, and baseball. And I don't know if people have ever seen his basketball highlights, but this guy was throwing down windmill dunks in the middle of games. His speed is very evident as well. So he's somebody that can move. I think that they would lean on him more as a runner if he ends up winning this competition. Now, somebody like Sayin, who has a quicker release, they'll probably try to get him moving while throwing the football with RPOs and keeping him within these moving pockets from left to right. I don't know how much they would maybe ask him to do some of the read option stuff that they were running with Will Howard last year, where Will Howard, would put his shoulder down and go dive forward for 5 or 6 yards or go forward for a first down. But, there's that really long quote from Ryan Day a couple of days ago about the toughness and the leadership of the quarterback position. I do think that each of those quarterbacks, no matter who wins the job, are going to be asked in a game like facing Texas in the season opener. If it's 4th and 2, they need to rely on that quarterback to be able to get those 3 yards and move the chains. So it's not something where they were asking a quarterback to run more or less. Maybe that's the question that we are going to explore further as this competition continues. But each of them will be expected to run at least a little bit, no matter who it is that wins the job.
Down the stretch of last year's season, we saw a guy like G. Scott Jr. step up in that tight end room and make some timely catches. The numbers were never crazy, but it did seem like he was able to make an impact along with a couple other guys in that room. But just talk about the tight end room, where you currently think that stands, and what type of contributions you think the offense could be getting from them come fall.
Yeah, Keenan Bailey was really excited about his position room a few weeks ago when we talked to the new assistant coaches and some of the guys that were promoted. Obviously, bringing in a guy like Max Clair from Purdue, he was one of the top prospects in the portal this past offseason. He's somebody that brings a receiving threat to the room that maybe we haven't seen in seasons past. Cade Stover sort of developed into a guy that Ohio State could lean on in the passing game, but I wouldn't have viewed him as such a threat that the defense has to account for him on every snap. I think that's kind of a guy that Max Clair can become in this offense. You got guys behind him, though, that are developing too, like Will Kacmarek had his first season last year after coming up from Ohio University. And then you also have Bennett Christian and Jelani Thurman are developing. I do think that they are excited about what this position can do, the way that they block, the way that they run downhill and are able to pave paths for guys like James People and C.J. Donaldson will be crucial this season, because especially when you're breaking in a new quarterback, you're going to want to have a guy that can do that. And you're also going to want to have a guy that can get open in the middle of the field in case those wide receivers aren't on the margins getting open or aren't getting open downfield. You have a guy that's sort of a security blanket for those young quarterbacks that they can just check down to whenever they need.
Chase, give me a little take on the corners here and what they want out of that. They want that starting nickel to play both if they can. What do you like about Lorenzo Styles' chances here? And then obviously Devin Sanchez is a name that we've heard this spring, and what's your hype with him?
Yeah, Devin Sanchez, I can start with him. A couple of the guys on the beat were talking as we were watching practice on Wednesday, and we were just saying, this is another year where a freshman comes in wearing number 4 with all the hype. Jeremiah Smith was that guy last spring. Devin Sanchez looks like a guy physically that can compete with some of his teammates for snaps. I think what really will be the determining factor on whether those snaps go to him is if he can learn the playbook and if Tim Walton can trust him in those big spots. That has been the case with some corners in Tim Walton's room. I remember Jermaine Matthews Jr. a couple of years ago getting some reps whenever Ohio State needed him to play a spot duty for Denzel Burke or for Davidson Igbinosun. But yeah, I think Lorenzo Styles, if we talk about him, he's somebody that transferred here a couple of years back and now is going to be going into his third year. Making that transition from wide receiver to cornerback, where he was that wide receiver at Notre Dame, I think has been a process. It has been one where he's learned. It's been one where he's applied his athleticism. But he's cut his teeth, as Ryan Day would say, on special teams these past few years. And I think he's looking for a shot. And I don't think that he intends to waste this opportunity, especially with one last go around with his brother Sonny playing the linebacker position. You know, I think it's an opportunity that both of those guys are excited to be impact players on this defense.
Who's a guy or two for you along that defensive line who you believe could be a consistent pass rusher for Larry Johnson and the team this year?
Kenyatta Jackson, whenever I watch him in practice, I am always impressed just physically by him. He has some of the longest arms in that defensive line room, which makes him a threat in that pass rush. His ability to be able to go around the corner, use those long arms to push the offensive tackles back and get to the quarterback has been something that, you know, we haven't gotten to see him do with prolonged reps because, you know, JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer were always ahead of him on the depth chart, and understandably so. You know, those guys are going to be first or second round picks in the NFL draft here next month. But Kenyatta Jackson is somebody I'm excited to see develop into that spot. And I also think that Edric Houston is somebody on the interior that they're using him sort of as that three tech. He's somebody that can cause some chaos in the interior. So I think that he's another guy that may be developing into a pass rush threat for this defensive line.
All right, you the man. You ace the test every time, brother. Good to have you on. You know we'll be talking very soon. Appreciate you.
That sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Chase Brown, 11 Warriors, covering Ohio State. He was on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline.
They are right now. We're about to hand out a $50 gift card to Skyline Chili. 614-821-9710 is CB's hotline number. Earlier in the program, we had a little Gold Jacket Thursday guest. Who was the Hall of Famer that joined us today? 614-821-9710 is CB's hotline number. If you get it right, you'll get a $50 gift card to Skyline Chili.
I know who won't be calling. Jamar Chase. Doesn't like anything.
Didn't Joey B body Skyline Chili too when he got here? I think that happened.
They're not eligible. Everybody else listening, you're eligible for the gift card. Joey B and Jamar, you are not. 821-9710. We'll come back. We'll tell the truth, and we'll update the tourney as well. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
It's March, and you know what that means. Bracket season. You've crunched the numbers, picked your favorites, and maybe even taken a big gamble on that Cinderella team. But when it comes to your home, gambling is not an option. Spring storms are rolling in, bringing strong winds, heavy rain, and unpredictable weather. The question is your roof ready? At Newman Roofing, we don't leave anything up to chance. Whether you need a new roof, gutter replacement, or updated siding, our expert team is here to educate you, guide you, and give you the best options to fit your home's needs. No high-pressure sales, no surprises, just top-quality work from a team you can trust. That's why homeowners choose Newman Roofing, the #1 overall seed here in Columbus, because we deliver an unbeatable customer experience every single time. So, don't wait until the damage is done. Beat the storm before it ruins your big dance. Call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com to schedule your spot this spring. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
The best matchup is you in a new Kia from Coughlin Kia. Get into a new Kia now with $0 down. Get 0% financing on select new Kias and make 0 payments for 3 months on any new Kia in stock. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
0% for 72 equals $13.89 per 1,000 financed on Nero EV, EV6, and EV9 with approved credit through Kia Motor Finance. 90 days deferred payments until June 2025. Qualified manufacturer incentives to dealer. Prior sales excluded. No security deposit. Residency restrictions may apply. Offers cannot be combined. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/25.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get mulch ready for the season. Now through April 5th, get 5 bags of red, black, or brown mulch for just $10.95. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your yard with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
A pepperoni pizza for the table.
Thank you.
May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness, while the carbonation and notes of citrus enhance the flavor profile. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time. Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Montana, Bettis, Horning, and Brown, some of the greatest of all time, kicked off their careers in South Bend. You can celebrate Notre Dame football's impact on the professional game by visiting the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton to experience Gold Helmet to Gold Jacket March 14th through April 27th. And register to win our grand prize at 971thefan.com/Gold Jacket. One winner will receive 2 tickets to the Hall of Fame game, enshrinement ceremony, and the Hall of Fame Museum. That's 971thefan.com/Gold Jacket.
The tournament is underway. Is your bracket a big pile of trash like mine? Big voice guy took it on the chin this year. Anyway, check your standings in the Fan and 10 TV Bracket Challenge.
Sponsored by Mountain Dew, Ohio Bottled, Buckeye Bowl.
The most accurate bracket, not mine, will take home $1,000. Check your progress at 971thefan.com. Wasting time has never been more fun. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
All right, first off, CB, who gets the gift card because they knew that Aeneas Williams was on the program today?
Yes, David in Westerville, good listening on you, and you're taking home the gift card.
Well done, David. Good job. Congrats. And congrats to Creighton for living up to everybody's expectation and beating Louisville.
Looks like Purdue's about to get it done.
Purdue's probably going to they're going to get it done up 11 with a minute to go.
High Point scared them for a little bit. They spooked them for a little bit, but Braden Smith and the gang said, no, not today.
Wisconsin's up 7 early in the second half.
Yeah, Montana's giving them a little bit of trouble.
Mm-hmm. And Houston is blowing out SIU Edwardsville as predicted. And you got a million more games later on.
We got Auburn and Alabama State about to tip off here in 3 minutes on CBS.
A 31.5-point favorite. Should be compelling stuff.
Yeah, Houston's 52-24 going into halftime. That's a wrap for that one, too. All right, CB, what do you got?
All right, so we kind of teased this question a little bit earlier when our guy AR mentioned that he doesn't feel like a double-digit seed really is going to make a type of run that would make it a true Cinderella. But I will ask you this. Tell the truth, will a double-digit seed actually do that, make a run to at least the Elite Eight?
Ooh, the Elite Eight. Ooh.
AR, on my bracket, I don't have that. I don't have that.
I think the team that could do it.
Yeah, who you got?
Is VCU. But they have such a tough opening round with BYU. I think if they get by them, they could take down Wisconsin, and then you never know. They would probably run into Bama. People like this McNeese team, and I think that they could beat the winner of this one, of Purdue, High Point. They could take Purdue down.
Yeah.
That'd be another team. Colorado State, it's a sneaky 12. I like them too, but I don't see them getting to the... what would they have to do, CB? Take out Florida? They're not doing that.
I mean, the dream for a team like that would be UConn shocks the world and pulls off around a 32 upset.
Yeah, I don't have a team getting.
And Oklahoma can do it too. Don't count out Oklahoma. Fears, the freshman. He's a great player.
What about this Xavier team that came back last night, beat Texas, and they get Illinois? They're probably running hot now. They feel like they got something going.
Well, I think both play-in teams are interesting because their 3 seeds are a little banged up. Like, if they get through that 6...
I'm with you.
It's a very real possibility.
Or Xavier. And I kind of knew that with North Carolina, Maddie, that motivation of the narrative of you didn't belong, let's prove to everybody we did, that was a recipe for them.
And, look, we talked about the quad 1 record not being good for them. They've been battle-tested, though. They had a tough schedule to get to this point. So they had to play in the ACC, play against some good teams. So that may work out well in their favor. But, yeah, double-digit seed getting to the Elite 8. CB, it's a no for me, dog. I've got Yale getting to the Sweet 16, and then it's a wrap for them after that.
Yeah, I think all those have ceilings, but if they get something cooking, I would not be surprised if that Carolina team made a little run because they were the story. And you know their AD just under the spotlight for getting them in, allegedly. So I'd look out for them.
Just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
All right, so many different people have different philosophies on how they fill out the bracket. One of them being the best names or mascots with the programs. The question is, tell the truth. Which team in the tournament do you believe has the best name or mascot? And why is it Purdue Pete?
The best mascot. Interesting.
There are a million dogs, so I cannot pick between Smokey and Uga and whoever else.
I'll tell you what, CB, I've always been partial to Duke's mascot. When I see it, I just think it looks cool. So I'm going to go with Duke, the Blue Devil.
But is he better than a Blue Demon?
That's a good question.
DePaul's not in it, and they probably won't be anytime real soon.
Yeah, I'm going with the Blue Devil.
I got to go with an animal. So I may just take Zippy the kangaroo up in Akron. She's got an NIL deal now and everything. So, and it's kind of an odd animal that you would have as your mascot. So whenever you can get a marsupial in there, Maddie, I'll go with Zippy.
Speaking of NIL deals, did you guys see that McNeese State's student manager, Amir Khan, he's the first student manager in the history of history.
I think with Buffalo Wild Wings and another company.
You seen this dude, AR?
No.
He leads the team out with like a radio, like a big speaker.
A boombox.
Yeah, boombox. Thank you. His name's Amir. His name's Amir Khan, and he just comes out. He's got the drip going. He's got the aura and the vibes going, and he got himself an NIL deal. And CB said it's with Beat Up, so shout out to him. He made some history. The first student manager ever to get an NIL deal. He'll be all over the place. If McNeese State wins the first game, this guy is going to become a story. He's already a
Says
story.
here, Amir Khan, you are officially a pioneer. In the wildest couple of weeks anyone could have, you've stayed so humble and true to yourself. First ever college kid manager to ink an NIL deal. 3 deals, all with global brands in a week.
I'm telling you. This is why.
With a boombox strapped to his shoulder, he accompanies the Cowboys out in the court and makes for quite the visual.
It's amazing.
That is amazing.
I need McNeese State to make some noise in the tournament because this dude needs to become more of a household name. But if you catch McNeese State in their first game, when do they play? They play against Clemson. I'm not sure the time of the game.
3:25.
Thank you, CB. Make sure you catch this guy coming out of the tunnel with the team. It's a movie.
Is there music coming out of the boombox? It's not just coming out of the stadium?
If you've seen the walkout by the 49ers with their boombox, it's pretty similar.
Yeah, no doubt. It's amazing.
All right, sweet.
And the truth shall set you free.
If you missed anything from our show, do not worry. You can always catch up because wherever you get your podcast, all you got to do, folks, is type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the pod as well. It'll pop up in your feed every day. Our podcast is sponsored by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Coming up on Common Man and T-Bone. No T-Bone today. It will be Common Man and Timmy Hall, and they will keep you up to date on all things March Madness.
All right, Maddie. We got a little less than a minute here. Should we let's give Teddy a little more run today?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. It's been a pretty good day. I think the Creighton Louisville game, that was the 8-9 game. It was going to go either way. No big deal. I think the interesting thing will be if Creighton can actually give Auburn the game. A lot of people think they can, and that would be huge. But it's a top tier. I hope we get a Cinderella somewhere. I really do. I would be actually surprised if you didn't get some Cinderella in there, but
it usually happens.
It usually does happen. All right. Well done today. Enjoy the games. We will talk to you again tomorrow at high noon. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
An ex-jock and a very puffy, smooth-faced man. These are the first voices you should hear. Morning Juice. Your wake-up service.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
At NJM Insurance, we like to think of ourselves as a symphony. We start with a foundation of doing the right thing. Then we layer in dedicated reps whose priority is you. Add in excellent discount programs. And last, but certainly not least, we put our policyholders first. And the reason we don't use jingles or mascots is because it's just not us. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Scott the Scots here. How did the grass feel when it woke up from winter? A little crabby. Get it? Crabgrass? Right now, there's a short window of time to apply Scott's Turf Builder Halt's Crabgrass Preventer. It stops crabgrass before it invades and feeds your lawn for a fast green up after winter.
Save up to $20 today at the Home Depot or Lowe's for Scott's Day-Long Saving Time. Offers valid March 6th through 19th. See store for full details and product selection.
Winter this year was a little snowier and colder than the last few years, and that makes spring's arrival that much better. Spring means Oakland Nursery's annual Spring Fling, March 15th to the 23rd. 33% savings on houseplants, garden tools and shoes, books, summer flowering bulbs, and more. And 25% savings on packaged garden seed. Everything you need to get started in the garden this year. Celebrate spring with savings at Oakland Nursery, March 15th to the 23rd. And celebrate Oakland's 85th birthday this year. Go to oaklandnursery.com for details.
Discover uncompromising quality at a reliable price with Giant Eagle and Market District. Find everyday savings and bargains on produce, meat, and more. Look for signs throughout the store highlighting long-term lower prices. With our weekly sales, deals for days promotions, and My Perks loyalty program, Giant Eagle helps make the most out of every shopping trip. Surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and experience value like never before. Visit Giant Eagle and Market District today to see how easy it is to save.
March is on at Lindsay Honda. Shoot your shot and save. It's madness. You get to choose your finance rate on over 600 new Lindsay Hondas. 0%, 1.9, 2.9, and up to a full 60 months long. And no trade-in required. This deal works with zero down. March is on at Lindsay Honda. Save with rates as low as 0% at lindsayhonda.com.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference.
See lindsayhonda.com for details.
March Madness hits the Schottenstein Center. Ohio State Buckeyes women's basketball takes on number 13 seed Montana State during the NCAA first round at 5:30 p.m. on Friday. Tickets are on sale at ohiostatebuckeyes.com.
Break. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. TNCs apply.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. All tournament long, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app. Sign up with the promo code Radio100 to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint.
Let's trade lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Buying a home used to feel like a complete headache. Listings here, pre-approval there, financing somewhere else. Now, Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com. A single seamless homeownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and refinance your home. Everything you need, all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com, the new home for all things homeownership. Rocket.